is 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. You're watching my favorite YouTube channel. I am the Monger of Chill. Did you guys read what that says? It says Jonathan Majors, 33 burning questions. That's right. I'm playing the YouTube algorithm. I get in all these views for these Jonathan Majors videos. Why don't we do a live stream? So if you want, on the right side of the screen, there's a live chat over there. If you're on a phone, it's below us. And you can type in whatever you want to talk about when it comes to this scenario. I have Onzo from the YouTube channel Biggerford Entertainment.
What is up, people? Thank you for having me, Chill. Can't wait to get into this show.
Recast T'Challa, that's right. The Jaded Fanboy is here as well.
Hey, as long as we're not talking about that dumb Mandalorian TV show, that's all I'm happy about.
Jaded. That's why I haven't come here, because I was like, I do not want to be here. Yeah, I'm like, nah, fuck man.
I can't handle the love fest that was happening about this show. It was just.
I agree.
That's exactly how I felt, Showmonger. Absolutely.
Ain't on the Baby Grogu show,
right?
Aside from the trash Mandalorian show, I recommend everybody get the Star Wars game that came out.
Oh yeah,
right? Yeah, you should get good.
That. SSJK.Sanctum is the man who just spoke, and then one half of the YouTube channel back of the bus is Marcus. Where's your W's and L's? Did I miss it, or did you not do one this week? You are muted.
Volume's muted off. You're muted, Marcus.
My bad, y'all. Yeah, Josh was off this week. He was out of town, had some business to attend to, so we were off this week. We'll be back next week.
Yes. Give Kathleen Kennedy an L. I don't even know why. Just do it.
Man, there's so much stuff going on in Lucasfilm right now, man. Like, you were just talking about the Mandalorian. And we talked early, Jaded, last time we were on here. I think that was like episode 3 that we were talking. And yeah, a lot of stuff has happened since then. A lot of stuff.
Were you a fan of this season, Marcus?
Parts of it. There were good things, but there were some spots in here that make me think like there must be a full-on battle royale happening in Lucasfilm before even of the leaks of what certain heads at Lucasfilm thought about, certain characters at Star Wars and things of that nature. Even before all that, it just felt like something was clashing.
You watched the same video I watched where they say Luke Skywalker is a cobweb. Like he's
I don't want to hijack your stream, but I have so many thoughts and how that connects to everything we see going on in Disney. Not even just Marvel and Lucasfilm, but Disney animation. Like everything in Disney is following this track of old stuff bad. We want new young people. Get out of here.
What did they say about Luke?
He's in the
gotta
past.
send me the link
He's
to
a
that video.
cobweb character, is what they called him.
He's for cameo purposes, but he's
Only.
just not.
Wait, but who said it specifically?
It's a source from the YouTuber WDW Pro.
Mm-hmm.
That stands for Walt Disney World Pro.
Yep.
And this guy's like been correct on other things, like the noise about Ray having a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Damon Lindelof. These are scoops that this guy and his sources have been correct about in the past. Yep. So it's valid to me.
Now you know why I haven't been paying for this stuff. It's like, look, I understand there's a lot of characters in this franchise. There's a lot, just like any other show. But under no circumstance do you keep trashing your first main character. Like your first main character. I know Anakin was the main character at one point, but he's the original main character. Mm-hmm. You can't keep trashing your own main character. Like it's unbelievable.
This is
everywhere for every franchise, for every studio. It's like if you were, that's where you will remain in the were.
Right.
We got our own thing we want to do over here, and
Here's the thing, though, K-Dot. For a lot of people, Luke isn't the first. Ray is. Right? For a lot of people, it's like, no, I'm just saying there's a lot of people. I'm not defending it. I'm saying that this is their mentality. This is why I'm not
for their generation,
For their generation.
They go, oh yeah, Luke, because he's in the original trilogy. Well, if they've never actually seen the original trilogy, they don't care. They don't know.
Jada, it's like this. And to be fair, this wasn't the first time we seen Batman. But Michael Keaton Batman, right? He's not my favorite Batman, but I have huge respects for Michael Keaton Batman. Because if Michael Keaton Batman did not create Batmania and did all those things, I would have never got Batman the Animated Series.
Right.
So, he's not my favorite Batman. I have moved on to better Batman, but
Really?
you're not going to see me truly crapping on the ode, because sometimes you have to acknowledge and appreciate the ode. You don't need to, the ode isn't always better, but you got to at least have some, some respect.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? You need to have a ton, but just a little.
Right now, I'm looking at Lucasfilm like this.
Because
What have you become?
Because
I'm saying, hey, just give me a little bit of Luke, give me a little bit of Mace Windu, and they're saying,
I'm not giving you anything.
It hurts.
I think it's really up to whoever the steward of the franchise it is at that moment, right? To solidify the core character, right? It's worked with Batman. You've been able to have these multiple iterations that people will come back to and have the same type of vigor and excitement because you've centered the reason why they were there. Superman films. That's why people still long for a man, or at least did still long for a Man of Steel 2, right? Nobody's crying for Brandon Roth, but they were able to get people excited through those multiple generations. And with Star Wars, they still had that. Even with the prequel trilogy, they still had that. They still had that center through the multiple generations until we get to Force Awakens, which was the biggest fake out, right? The biggest fake out. We're giving you the air of New Hope and all of the legacy characters are coming back, only not really.
I'm not giving you anything.
And you know what I mean? So it's like they've decided that the traditional model of keeping the main thing, right? Everybody showed up for Luke, Leia, Han, Chewie, R2-D2, the main core. That's what people came for. You had that. You had everybody still alive, only it was someone at Disney's bright idea to say, hey, I can take that crowd and I can inject some of that energy into their daughters and their nieces and nephews, but not the way that it was injected to them initially. No. We're just going to fast forward it and put it on our characters so that we can put a separation between George's legacy and ours.
Right.
That pesky George Lucas. Still alive, by the way, and it would make a perfect interim Lucasfilm president if they ever need to get rid of this one who is not going to have a profitable Indiana Jones film, and the Ray Part 4 movie should not be performing well. Keaton is the GOAT of Batman. The Jedi should have gotten Anakin some therapy. You know who wants to bring us back on track, though? William. He says, would She-Hulk defend Kang in court? No.
Okay, hold on. Would Kang want She-Hulk to defend him in court? That's the question.
It would never happen.
No. I mean, to be fair, Kang can
If
just
you want to lose, you would have She-Hulk
manipulate time and make it so that the court case never happens.
That's what I'm saying. Why would Kang need She-Hulk to? Oh yeah, it's whatever.
Jim would find a way to help the prosecution convict Kang.
I think Kang would
find a legal way to help the prosecution.
Am I right?
If they actually gave Kang the power set that he's actually known for, you wouldn't need She-Hulk. But
Rosales, the first question of 33 burning questions is for you. Question number 1 asks, let me get it right here. Who is the most impressionable Kang? So far, we got the TVA version, who was what was his name? The He Who Remains. We have the exiled one that was in the entire Ant-Man Quantumania movie. Or maybe you want to jump to the end credit scenes where there were all these multiple other Kangs. Who's the most impressionable?
Probably the one from Ant-Man, since he was taken down by the Kangs. He was manipulated by the OG Wasp,
Janet,
and taken down by possibly the weakest Avenger.
Anybody else want to touch it?
I just don't think there's enough to. There's not enough yet to have an impression yet. I think it's too early. But
this is a plain question, huh?
I'll say this. The one from Ant-Man had the best presence of a Kang, right?
He had the most.
You had the impression, yeah.
Right. But
everybody else had a few seconds. It's got to be the exiled one.
it's still kind of early for me to pick like a Kang. If I had to pick a Kang with the coolest design, I think it was one with Immortus, the one with the one
Mortis.
with the deep voice. Yeah, him. He had the cool. I think he had a cool design.
Anzo, who's your most impressionable Kang?
It's the one from Ant-Man. That's the one we got the most out of, right? We got to see the most, and as I watched it again, like, if it's not for him in that movie, I don't know if I like that movie anymore. So it's the one from Ant-Man.
But how will this 5-week stretch affect Avengers Kang Dynasty? Since March 25th, when the arrest happens and TMZ reports it, to all the way now, what does this mean 2 years from now in the Avengers movie? Nothing. People forget.
Yeah, go ahead, Joe. Sorry.
The amount of people who are going to retain their memory and remember this stuff are only the people who are like, I don't know, hateful, being like, the casual audience don't really know. They're not really following this Majors news and stuff. But there is some people in the film world who care. As far as like ticket sales and stuff, if this man's not going to be convicted and he's going to be exonerated, the general audience and the casuals who make up a bulk of those movie tickets, and I'm just talking about like the domestic movie tickets, international audience don't give a damn about what's trending on Twitter all the time. Like it's just like the new superhero movie. Let's watch it. So how will this little week of bad press and negative headlines from Variety, seemingly only Variety, as all this won't really matter to the box office of Avengers Kang Dynasty and the future, because that is 2 years from now.
I agree with you 100%.
Still gonna make the bulk of his money. Might make $3 billion again, like Endgame. Who knows?
Yeah, I agree with you. It really won't have much effect on it. I think the only effect it will have on the people are the people that want to see him fall. You know what I mean? The ones that are right now saying no, he's guilty and want to see him go down. Those are the only ones it's going to affect. But other than that, it's an Avenger movie. It's going to make money.
Yeah. So I know we're all acting under the. It seems like we're all acting under the assumption that everything's playing out seemingly normal, and that this comes to a conclusion that's favorable for.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. I'm of that train of thought as well. I'm not oblivious to the alternative, which is the circumstantial evidence and whatever character issues the prosecution is able to drum up around Jonathan Majors either drags this trial on much longer than probably it should, or damages his reputation enough that Disney has to wash their hands of him. Right. So that is it's a equal kind of, it's a 50-50, I think, at the moment. Now, the evidence from what I've seen surely supports Jonathan Majors. Right. Everything else that's been said about this situation is a lot of circumstantial stuff. There's a lot of hearsay, but the most concrete of the evidence that we've gotten so far is coming from Major's side. Now, we can certainly get all of this stuff into the courtroom, and it's an absolute shit show. It shows Majors. It could. It shows Majors, roughing her up in the back, and somehow the lawyer thought that was a good video to show, just like the text messages or whatever. But if it is what they say it is, I think it depends on how long this goes. If they can get this done within a few weeks, case dismissed, whatever, there's a nice long layoff until Loki season 2 in the fall. They can kind of pump up other things, get people's attention on other things until it's time to roll out one of the only Disney Plus shows that's still successful for you Marvel wise, and Loki. And then boom, everybody forgets because we're creating content that we like, and we're all the stuff that we were waving our flags over no longer matters, i.e. Ezra Miller. So I don't think it's going to derail Kang Dynasty unless, of course, the trial goes bad, in which case I don't think Kang Dynasty is the name of the Avengers film anymore.
Well, it wouldn't be. Oh, those texts that you brought up?
Doom's Dynasty.
No.
Yeah, Doom's Dynasty.
No, I actually think it'll still be Kang's Dynasty. I just think they'll recast them. I think they already have.
Oh yeah.
I think they already. They already have a plan.
Okay, go ahead, Big Frank.
Yeah. No, I was just gonna say, I think they already have a plan in mind that if it goes bad, they're like, okay, we're gonna cast this guy and put him as Kang. I think they're gonna still move forward because you already have Secret Wars. I don't know. I just don't know what they would do with the Loki. Maybe they would change a couple of episodes to where is
delay
the new
it.
Kang at the end
If
of
they
it,
weren't
or
doing
delay it, or
the
yeah,
King thing anymore, they would probably delay it and replace
yeah.
him as the main villain. Because you can do Secret Wars and replace Kang with Doom, I think. But
Hmm.
here's the question I really want to ask, and I know it's a silly question at that, but
Doom might actually be the secret villain of Secret Wars. That's
he could be, But
and
my thing is,
they can do that.
do you think Disney wants to keep dipping into these recast waters? Do you?
No.
I don't think they care. They don't care. As long as
Yeah.
the final
I do think
product
they
makes
care.
money,
I
they
think
don't
they
care what they
care.
have to do. They don't.
Because every time something like this happens, even though they're wildly inconsistent on how they do it, they have some kind of explanation. They have this press tour where they kind of pad the transition between characters. They did it with Terrence Howard and Don Cheadle. They're doing it when they decided not to recast.
They kind of did it with. Whoa, hold on, Marcus. They didn't do anything when it came to Terrence Howard because you actually had. It's me. I'm here. Deal with it.
Yeah.
That was Disney going. We're changing.
I'm saying the communications, the language that came out. It painted Terrence Howard as being money hungry. You know what I'm saying? Like we know Disney can communicate without saying it out of their own representatives' mouths, right? So the language was as such as this was Terrence Howard's fault. You know, he wanted too much money. We're small. We're trying to grow. He doesn't want to spread. And then that made it an easier transition to Don Cheadle. They attempted to do the same thing in reverse with the Chadwick Boseman stuff, trying to activate everybody's feels to make you okay with their decision. Same thing with Harrison Ford. Boom, we're excited. We're replacing our beloved William Hurt with Harrison Ford. Yeah, everybody get excited. It's all a distraction to distract you from whatever it is the difference is between why they recasted this person, not the other.
Vengeance has consumed you.
You want to keep drumming that up. You want to keep having this discussion about, well, why this person and not this person? Well, why this person and not this person? Why did that person get recast and not this person? You want to do that in perpetuity?
Yeah, as long as it makes people, gets them their money. I mean, that's like saying when Comedy Central said what they said about Dave Chappelle. And then what happened after he came back? They gave him a $50 million contract.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well,
it would be beneficial for them to do that, though, because the biggest thing Jonathan Majors appeared in flopped. Right? And I'm not saying that's Jonathan Majors that made it do that. I'm saying what would be the reason to risk that kind of controversy again?
$1 billion movie.
Yeah, but it didn't work out for you the last time. It didn't work out for you in Wakanda Forever. So why drum this up again for a less successful property? Yeah. Because at least then you were shooting for $1 billion that you've already hit. You've never hit $1 billion with Ant-Man.
But you're actually
right. But I don't think they ever expected to hit $1 billion with Ant-Man.
Well, they didn't expect it to hit 450.
Yeah.
But what they were expecting, but I mean,
they expect to make more money than two.
Right, but if you look at the track record from Phase 4 to now, their movies have been going down. You got the ones that
but that's not by choice. They expected some of these films to kind of buck that trend. They expected Thor: Love and Thunder to buck it. They expected Wakanda Forever to buck that trend. They absolutely expected Ant-Man Quantumania to buck that trend of diminishing returns. They were expecting some of these films to push them out of this scrum that they're in. So if that's the idea, and I'm looking at a property that didn't do what we expected it to do in the first place, and there's a prospect of the actor that we have playing that main character, well, not the main character, but the antagonist of that story, who may not be touchable for the foreseeable future, depending on what they decide. Is recasting that guy the easiest answer? I don't think that's the easiest workover in the midst of all of that, because I've seen the Damson Idris rumors or whatever, and I don't know if I step into that situation like that right now.
Marcus, I swear to God, you have put more thought into this than every Disney executive combined. I'm sorry. I honestly, they're just looking at it going, okay, do we rewrite the script? Do we rewrite anything? No, we don't want to bother. Okay, fine, whatever. We got 50 people we've hired to do the spin. That's their job. And we're just going to go back to doing what we're doing.
And we can give access to all the people we don't have under our pay. And we give them the access and they won't be so negative against us. So even that helps out. It's a win-win situation over there. The question was, I think we all touched it, right? Question number 1 was the most impressionable.
No,
I
number
was,
2.
I was like, how will the 5-week affect Kang, right? Rosales, did you say something?
No, I didn't say anything about it because I'm waiting till the 8th.
Smart man. We got Felicity who's in the building. What do you think about this 5-week stretch? Is this going to affect the box office performance of the eventual Avengers Kang Dynasty?
I think that they should, or it is looking like they are totally pivoting at least away from majors. In my opinion, if they're going to do that, then they might as well go ahead and pivot to a different character besides Kang. Hi guys, sorry
Hi.
What's going on?
for coming in late. Yeah, when somebody loses their management and their agent, that's usually an indication that they've moved on. The company that was hiring them for whatever role has moved on from them in whatever way. So I think they have unofficially moved away from Jonathan Majors.
Marvel?
So yeah, I think they have.
No, that's so short-sighted.
Hey,
man.
wait a minute.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Look, if this is maybe true, it's a good thing. That means Warner Brothers and DC can get Jonathan now.
Yeah, it's a terrible mistake that Disney is unfortunately. Well, you know what? I can't call it a hardcore mistake, because what if it turns out, the totally opposite than what we think it is right now?
Right.
But it's misguided because we just watched you do this with Johnny Depp, and it destroyed a $1 billion franchise in the midst of it, where you would love to have it today. You would absolutely love to have Pirates today.
I think what may have happened is either behind the scenes they found out something that makes it look like they knew what was going on.
Who's they? Marvel?
She works there. She worked at Marvel, didn't she?
Yeah, she was in Quantumania, but
wait.
Who's they though? Felicity, you're talking about Marvel found
the
out
company, Disney Marvel, because if all these things that are going on behind the background with all these like directors and theater types that supposedly knew things about him, Disney should have known that. When you're a big conglomerate like them, you got detectives and retired cops working for you to find out this type of information on people before you hire them.
Oh yeah.
So it's possible that either they found out that maybe there's some truth to what's going on, or that they should have known that there was some shoot that was going on and was going to make them look bad. They're taking so many L's right now from so many different directions.
Different angles,
yeah. They don't need this.
I understand that, Felicity, but if that was the case, about 75% of the people that work in Hollywood wouldn't be able to work in Hollywood.
That's the first thing you said that wasn't batshit crazy.
Yeah, Jaden, fanboy.
Well,
I understand what you're saying, Felicity, but it's like half the directors wouldn't be able to be directors if that was the case.
Well,
you're
not wrong. You're not
They all
wrong.
got skeletons for sure.
Yeah, they do, and their PR agencies are supposed to spin it for you and protect you, not drop you over accusations when you clearly you consistently say, there's a witness who can attest that I didn't put no hands on her. There's video inside of the back seat. There's a video seeing her go into the club the very next night. There's a body cam footage of the actual cop who arrested her, and you can clearly see that she's asked 19 times, and she says, I don't know. And then on that 20th time, he coaches her, directs her to say that he choked you, say he choked you. And
so
they have footage of
the actual video, not just the still image.
We just see the still image, but what does that circle in the center say? You click play, and you can see that. So they're telling you they have this, and then they're showing us. Well, they actually do have the video because that's where that screenshot came from. Why would we ever believe that these guys are lying at this point? Like that's such a bold lie to make. And,
what that leads me to believe is that anything that's happening now to Jonathan Majors, as far as his career, has nothing to do with him and his actions, but who she is and who her relationship stemmed to be with.
You mean the girlfriend?
Yes.
She's a nobody. She's just like an extra on the scenes.
Or she's the daughter or niece of somebody who's important.
I don't think so. I think that this is an officer who's like showing up on the scene, because remember, it was Majors who made the 911 call, shows up on the scene and he's like, oh, you look like that and you look like that. I
But
can
it's the
connect the
Hollywood
dots.
types that are abandoning him. That's what I'm saying.
Well, they're
I think
abandoning
what
him because they
made-
have a short what do you call patience for Jonathan Majors. They themselves have some internal questions that they need answering. Like that, it's a problem. They're exposing themselves for not believing Jonathan Majors, or at least waiting until the 9th day of May.
I think what may have happened here is that the lawyer probably jumped the gun on whatever strategy she had to defend Jonathan. Maybe she could have consulted a little bit with Marvel, because obviously they're a big business. They have movies coming out, they have shows coming out. They don't need his name mentioned every time they're trying to promote all this other stuff. But she keeps trying to put things out there to pollute, the jury pool. And that is keeping Marvel's name out there for not so great reasons. So
There's a week and a half left until that's over. Like, and the lawyer, when she put out this text, people took it as, well, that's what an abused victim sounds like. I take it as, this is what a woman who was drugged, and then when she was still coming to it, she puts out a statement to a cop who was forcing her to say something. That this sounds like a woman who's apologetic towards that. No longer does this sound like an alleged abuse victim. Were you reading it, Jaded Fanboy? I see you like zoomed in like that.
Well, I was, but that's okay.
But like that, now if I read those words over, I'm looking at it like, oh, I can see how you would, you read it this way. I'll read it. Come, you guys got time? You got time? You got 2 hours for me? It says, there's no note, just you knowing what happened. And then he says, do you have the keys? And he says goodbye to her. It says today. I believe that was on the Saturday. But anyways, here we go. The next texts are, please let me know you're okay when you get this. They assured me that you won't be charged. You see, that sounds like a woman who knows she was wrong for giving that cop the statement, even though he didn't put hands on her and she went to the club the night prior. They said they had to arrest you as protocol when they saw the injuries on me. Do you see how she didn't say that you were the one who put the injuries on me? She says, when you saw the injuries on me. And they knew we had a fight. Now, fighting doesn't necessarily mean
Physical.
contact was made. Thank you. And then says, I'm so angry that they did. And I'm so sorry you're in this position. We'll make sure nothing happens about this. And that's true, because she is, she's playing along for his favor. I told them it was my fault for trying to grab your phone. I only just got out of hospital. Just call me when you're out. I love you. And he says absolutely nothing, according to these texts. Now, also, he could be deleting his messages and then just sharing the screenshot, so we don't know. But then she goes, I love you. And she says, they just called again to check on me. And I reiterated how this was not an attack. And they do not have my blessing on any charges being placed. Again, this sounds like an abuse victim. You okay? This also
sounds like an abuse victim.
Like someone who's afraid. When an abuse victim is afraid, they want to help the one who's putting the beats on her. They want to like, because they're under his control.
It feels like all of the drum around it, or not this person, but an abuse victim would feel like she caused all of the craziness around it, like she was the source of it. Even though she may have been the victim of something, she's apologizing because it's caused all of this hysteria.
And now when I read these words, I read the paper they gave me about strangulation. I said point blank, this did not occur and should be removed immediately. The judge
Sorry.
There's a mute button, actually. No, it's right there.
I apologize. Sorry, it came out of nowhere.
What? My question is, what could she have said that people would have gone, okay, then
that was my point when these first came out. I was like, what could she have said if it's not this?
Yeah.
What could she have said that would have made it more on the nose to be like, oh no, yep, she's right. She was wrong. She was the one in the wrong. I was like, what could she have said?
This is
when you guys text a loved one, do you text like this? Do you talk to each other like this in text form? This seems staged.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem real. When you texting somebody, it's like, hey, boo, can you go to the store for me? We need milk. Oh, yeah, boo, I got you. It's quick. It's not like a dissertation in text form.
Which can be taken multiple ways, right? You can take that as, all right, well, she's orchestrating it to make it look a certain way, or you could take it as well, Majors clearly made her text this specifically to make it look this way. So it's still, you've actually said a lot, Felicity, that made me think about a couple of things. You were talking about the lawyer and how she was so quick to release those text messages and maybe preemptively to Marvel's liking. I'm thinking about the kind of dual motivations in all of this. Marvel, like you said, wants their name off of this. They don't want to be tied to this, whether it's true or not. They're not even, I think Jay even said it's not even really about Jonathan Majors' innocence at this point. It's about how bad this gets in the public perception. And so her knowing that is probably trying preemptively and probably a little bit to Jonathan Majors' displeasure, is getting out in front of any possible narrative that they can try to shape him as this brute, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they even
911.
I know.
He's the guy that called 911. That doesn't even make any sense.
I know
right,
he does
but you
it.
see how little that's even been reported. We just read through or Chill did the day before, read through that whole
Variety article. Holy.
They don't even mention the fact that he was the one that called the police. There's so many people that I've talked to about that don't even know.
And
that
just
he called
yesterday,
cops.
and just a couple days ago, they reported that this woman now has a restraining order, not a restraining order, but an order of, never mind, what was the exact wording? It was
order of protection.
Thank you. And now they made it sound like she was. They make it sound like she requested
right,
it.
right. Like she went there and said, "I need protection."
No, but the way that it's
like
worded,
it's the standard procedure if there's some sort of domestic dispute to order those two parties to stay away from each other until we figure this out.
But if you just read the headline, all you're gonna see when you just read the headline is, "Ooh, they got to be separated from each other. Something happened," and it's just week after week of nonstop negative press for this guy in this 5-week stretch.
I think they knew that. That's the clicks. They don't give a damn about the truth. Yeah. Whatever gets clicks.
And it's racism.
Yeah. I'm just curious.
On
the panel, how many people have actually been on a jury?
None. Well, I haven't.
Not yet.
Yeah. Look, the lawyer's job is to probably do what she's doing. It doesn't look great, but she's familiar with, the people that will be a part of the jury pool in New York. She wants to pollute the jury pool, put as many facts out there so that, when you get these people that are like listening to everything that's on the internet or, Twitter or whatever, that you can discount those people and get down to the nitty gritty and find the people that are going to be straightforward. I just want the facts. And when you're on a jury, that's what you get. You get to look at all the evidence without all the pollution, maybe except for some of the other people on the jury that are like, that person is guilty or that person is innocent. You get as much of a clear view of the evidence as possible. So all this other stuff is just extra.
But you're saying they call it voir dire, right? Voir dire or something like this, where they're doing the jury selection. It's the process of eliminating any juror who might sway one way or show bias or whatever, and it's the prosecution and defense kind of. But that process, you're saying. Sorry, I just wanted to understand. You're saying that the defense and prosecution are putting information out there to pollute the jury pool, so that they'll know about this stuff, or they won't know about this stuff. So they'll know about it and hide it from them. Because I didn't quite get that. Why?
I'll let her.
Yeah, go.
No, when it comes down to the prosecution and the defense to determine who gets on the jury. They have to both agree with a person getting on the jury. So sometimes it may benefit you to try to, slide that person in there. Like the defense, she's probably going to want to get people that are believing, he's innocent because of whatever. But the prosecutor's going to be like, no, I need those people that, are going to want to throw the book at this guy. So it's kind of a dance. You know, you're gonna have to play ball. You're gonna maybe get one or two people like that on the jury, but you don't. If you're the prosecutor, you're gonna try to limit that as much as possible.
But generally, I find that the prosecution will always play this game, prior to any trial, where defense always has to kind of be on defense, essentially, where they're trying to basically sour the person's public reputation. When it comes to famous people, famous individuals. So it's really that kind of thing of just like, let's put this out there. It doesn't really matter if it's true or not. That just the public perception, the court of public opinion, and I find that they do that even more when they've got a weaker case.
Yeah.
It's like,
and when they got 10 days left to slander him, and they can't trash him after this, because you will find out exactly how innocent he is when that witness testifies. And they're not going in front of a jury right now. They're presenting everything to a judge to see whether or not we should take it for any further.
Go to trial.
Mm-hmm. No, because they're kind of narcissistic. The idea that they might lose pisses them off, so they just like, okay, at least I can win this in the court of public opinion. At least once
that your head would go to that.
Because you're right, nerd man. It's interesting your head would go to that, because that's exactly how they're thinking. I thought you were done talking, and I played it a little bit early. Sorry, nerd man.
It's okay.
On this one, I might disagree with you that the DA is narcissistic. I believe this is the same DA's office that is trying to go after Trump. So they got enough problems with that situation. They don't need this. I feel like if they didn't really feel like they had some sort of case, they probably wouldn't have moved forward, and they probably would have wanted to try to keep it out of the court system if possible. That's just my opinion, because they're dealing with so much.
They were in too deep. The cop did this arrest. They thought that he was guilty from the jump, and now they got to commit to the bit. And then that's why they're seeking these X's of majors and anyone who they got to commit to the bit. That's all this is, and they're going to be flat on their face. And I hope that Majors countersues or takes legal action against now this officer who was coaching this woman to say stuff like, "Oh, you gotta say like he choked you."
But I mean, I'm not as confident as Chillmonger. I don't know about the rest of you guys. I'm not as confident as him.
Yeah,
I tend to agree with what he's saying.
50-50?
But they could have something.
You of all people bought into that bullshit.
On how it plays out.
No, they could have something, and it doesn't necessarily even have to be the truth.
Why would you think that?
I said.
Why would you think that?
Okay, I'm done.
Okay, all right.
I don't care either way.
I'm on chill side.
We just
I was saying
even
that
if it goes the way that Jonathan Majors wants it to go, the result of what his reputation will go through could still end up having him lose everything, or at least everything he had before this saga started. So it's not the best position for him to be in. There's going to be a point where, like, the career be damned, Jonathan Majors may just be fighting for his freedom. And so when that's what we're talking about is at stake, the idea of him getting fresh out of this, where he left off, the longer this goes, the less likely it is.
Sure.
I just want him to get a fair trial. I don't have any invested in him whatsoever. If he gets a fair trial, that's what the justice system is supposed to provide people with. Yes, plus minus on whether or not that actually happens. But it's the best. It's the best justice system that we have. So hopefully things go right.
It's not it has problems. I mean, we say this as if it's just like something to be said now, like, oh, this American justice system is like this. Yeah, it's not perfect.
No,
absolutely
not,
dude. It's really if you're talking about a fair trial, if you're talking about DAs who are already putting out like this kind of information to sully his name, let's just assume, like, or not assume. Let's pretend that we already know the result and he's innocent. The fact that they've done this in the beginning for pride, and And even if he was guilty, the fact that they've done this prior shows to me a DA, a prosecution team that are not going to play fair. That's what I see. You're putting out all of this kind of stuff, this information, leaking stuff to Variety all the time. That does not scream to me a prosecution that's going to play by the rules.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
We
If
got
everybody's telling the truth about what they have, the DA's telling the truth, they have old girlfriends of Jonathan Majors who are going to corroborate a history. If Majors is telling the truth and his video shows that he never touched her, if they have the eyewitness from the cabbie who's going to say she hit him and he got out of the car, if that's what's going to happen, I don't see where their case is outweighing what Jonathan Majors is saying he has. If everybody has what they say they have, I don't see the crack in the case where, okay, yeah, we needed to pursue this.
By the
It's
way, they
easy
got
to
nothing.
say that when you
said
have
something-
not been on a jury.
But-
You
but-
have to have had that sort of situation
That's a good point.
to know, you know,
Mhm.
if from the outside things may look a certain way, but when you get
Somebody
in that
got
jury
background
room,
noise.
it's different.
Somebody's got like a squeaky chair, first of all.
Yeah, I know, and you muted me like it was me, and I'm like, no, that's not me, bro.
Because I do that and I check to see who it is.
I
But
got you.
what Marcus said was they're
It might be
allegedly
me. It might be me. Yeah, it is me. Okay. Wait.
just mute. You can press Control D also, that works as well.
Well, look,
That was somebody else.
to
But
me,
like no, but
it-
what Marcus said was like they got like acting like they got evidence and they're coming here looking at other women. The news was sources familiar with the DA have multiple alleged victims have come forward. That wording is purposely put that way because they used the exact same wording the second time to let people like you and anyone else with opinion go, oh, there's more women who he's targeted. Like it's not the case.
Well,
Multiple
even in
news-
that case, right? Even in that case, let's say they have it. Let's say they found two ex-girlfriends of Jonathan Majors who are
One.
going to tell bad stories.
Just one. Just
Okay.
one.
Cool.
'Cause-
Let's say they
'cause
have
most-
it.
Yeah.
The reason why he's in court is a domestic dispute with this woman. So if the strongest evidence you have against Jonathan Majors, and again, Felicity's right. I've never sat on a jury, so I don't know how this stuff is presented to them differently than how we get it in the public. You know, I don't know what the differences are and how it's put to me. But just me trying to make a reasonable decision, if your strongest bit of evidence is ex-girlfriend of Jonathan Majors, who's going to have somewhat of a similar story to what this girl already recanted, versus video evidence of what happened in that car and an eyewitness on Jonathan Majors' behalf,
right?
I'm
And
just be as reasonable as I possibly can. That's not, and again, there could be things that they know or that they found out that they've chosen not to release, and they've only released the things that they've given us so far.
What if
and hold on there,
What-
man. And to Chill's point, right? When they talked about the article and multiple victims, right? They end up saying later on that one of them worked on Ant-Man Quantumania. And then we find out that his girlfriend, the one that he's having issue with, worked on Ant-Man and Quantumania. So you're
Same
telling me now there's
girl.
two
And we know
people?
that the
Or
dispute was
that's right,
over
so-
what was on his
Oh,
phone.
he's
who he was
a
talking
handsome
to.
guy.
So
They
maybe
worded
she
it.
finds out
Hey.
that he was messing around
He's a
with her
handsome
coworker,
guy.
and that's what started this whole thing.
Okay.
And that's why
but-
Disney wants to be out of this as quickly as possible, because now they have, you know, disputes in between employees under the Disney umbrella that's got hella crazy.
But going back to the text, you've mentioned that you think that it could be Jonathan Majors put her up to the text, or it could be
In terms of the robotic nature and the way that she's speaking, it's set up in some kind of way. So, yeah, it's either way.
So it could be Jonathan Majors, but it also could have been the cops. So
Sure.
it could be that she, you know, maybe she is kind of working with them. You know, like maybe she is working with the DA in the end, and that's why they feel so confident. Because I'm looking, I'm like you, I'm looking at what we've got so far. If what we've got so far is the case, right? Like, is, you know, like some of the stronger evidence has come out on both sides, then I don't see how the DA has a case. Even if, let's say, Jonathan Majors is a horrible person and he has a girlfriend who he did something to in the past, that has really nothing to do with the specific case, this specific case. And if the girl in question isn't going to she's well, she isn't.
She's not following
forgotten the
up.
word. Yeah. If she's not following, then they really don't have much. The only thing I can think of is that maybe they're trying to say that he did something to her when he
To show a
got back to the
pattern.
flat.
To establish
No,
a pattern.
but when he got back to the flat, because this is part of the story where there is no cameras and there was no witnesses. They got back. Apparently, he found her in his flat. She'd thrown up on the bed or something along these lines. Maybe that's what the DA is going with, or that's what the prosecution.
But they would have a
that
hard
something
time
happened
doing
during
that.
that.
Even they'd have a hard time doing that, even because the described fight or scuffle that happened between them happened prior to the police being called. She even says that in the text messages. They knew we had a fight. They knew we had a fight like before. So it's like, number one,
had a
that's your
fight could
witness.
be in
an
You're
argument.
right. I guess that could be before
arguing,
they got there.
yeah.
You're right. You're right. But if that's your witness, now you're marching out somebody who's already twice recanted their story. So if that's your ace in the hole, the woman who not only admitted to her accused abuser, but also to a judge, as she said, a judge and a prosecutor, that this absolutely unequivocally did not happen to me. That's your star witness now. So that it doesn't work in their favor to have her on their side now that she's taking her story back.
But you know, it does work in her favor. These two parties can't communicate with each other. Here, we're gonna put a protection.
Yeah,
order.
I'm just saying that that text has always struck me as suspect, and it looks it could be that she's cooperating. That's the word I was looking for. But it could be that she's actually cooperating, and that was part of like some kind of thing to fish him in, to like text something back that will incriminate him.
Can you imagine if that's
and
the
also
thing,
I don't understand this thing of like, why do you need a manual to work out like if you've been strangled or not? You know,
well,
like,
that's just probably like a pamphlet she was given. Did this actually happen to you? No, I
know that they would give them
That's what
something
happened.
like that, but why would somebody say in a text, "Oh, they gave me a pamphlet"?
Yeah, so it sounds a little bit like
I understand that's like the kind of things they do in like, these kind of situations.
Police often hand you a written statement so that you can write down and confirm what has been clarified in the statement. Oftentimes, if you don't read the statement, you don't know what exactly you are declaring to the police in an official statement. So you've got to read that. And what she's saying here, essentially, the way I see it, is that the statement that she signed had a bunch of stuff in there that wasn't true. So she's admitting to them, or at least in the text, that I told them this didn't happen, but I signed it anyway, is basically what she's telling him.
Oh, really? But I thought she said it was a pamphlet.
She said manual. Well, pamphlet
a manual.
But same sort of thing.
That sounds like some kind of pictorial
and
presentation or something.
And two things: we're being shared on Twitter, we're being shared on Twitch, YouTube, all over the place. Thanks, Kata. Thanks, Rosales. Thanks, everyone, for sharing the broadcast where you guys are sharing your broadcast. The next thing I want to say is that what if those texts, those were early on? She was Team Majors. I'm trying to free you, baby. I love you. And he's not hitting her back. And what if now she's scorned? Let's just, imagine this. She's angry. She's like, I'm going to take this guy down because he's breaking up with me now after what happened. I can't believe it. Okay, I'm going to go with the DA and I'm going to cooperate. Can you imagine if she turned heel in the middle of this process?
Yeah, because that'll be a shock. Oh, a woman doing that? Oh, I'd be shocked. Oh, man. Oh, no, never.
But that was my thought exactly as well, because again, you had the situation where she sent this text at first, but then the lawyer later on, Jonathan Major's lawyer, is like basically abusing her in the media. Like, so that doesn't sound to me like they're like
so that
her
my
and
theory
John
are
on
right.
good terms.
Look, the way that Trotter
But
was
who knows?
talking about her the last time, the way that they were saying that this woman is like wrong and completely lying, I'm like, whoa, that's hot. Those are some big words that you would use against someone who, maybe Majors wants to continue pursuing a relationship with, or at least he doesn't want to hurt her. But if you're going to go all out and call her a liar, this and that, maybe she went to the dark side and she's like, okay, we're going to take him down. Yeah, but honey, there's like a footage of you in the cab. There's footage of you in the club. I don't care. I'm going to make up more things. Like, you never know. You really never know. Anzo, you believe in that theory right there? Do you think that's valid?
Yeah, I think it's
Of course
valid.
he would.
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay, hold on. How can women go to the dark side when they're already there?
I'm not going to acknowledge that.
Oh,
We got
let's
some
not
live
acknowledge
chats
That's
that
what I
relate.
don't
Oh,
get.
dated.
Let's just
The
not
cost of
acknowledge
debt.
it.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Let's
Felicity.
just-
I didn't notice you there. I'm sorry. I didn't.
I appreciate that. Thanks.
cost
Now,
of
look, obviously, there's going to be an element of he said, she said to this.
Mhm.
Look, to be honest, once it started going down, I already knew that they were going to move away from him because of the situation. But at this point, all I can really do is hope that he gets his fair day in court, and that he can, present the evidence, that is relevant to his case, and it gets heard.
Well, so far Marvel
Yeah.
hasn't announced anything that they were dropping him or anything like that, so we'll see
And
how
the
that works out.
it's
That's because
the fact
they've got-
that his management and agency have dropped him so early on in the case, that's an indication that Disney
That they're racist.
had. Well, hey,
that he's black.
yes,
Yeah.
they are.
He's
That
black.
that
That's
goes
an
without
indication that he's
saying.
black.
That goes without saying. But if you cannot pay those people,
No, it doesn't go
No.
without saying. Not with this panel does it not go without saying.
No,
Believe me.
well, we can say it. We can say
With
it on the
this
panel.
guy, it does not go without saying.
Me? Hey, man, what? I'm
And
innocent in this one.
guy.
But I mean, Felicity, you seem to have a lot of faith in the justice system, and it's like, I mean, we've all seen 12 Angry Men, and I can kind of see, like, yeah, philosophically speaking, a jury trial being judged by a jury of your peers is something that we all deserve. We all deserve a fair trial if we ever find ourselves in this situation. But I think we just know better with, everything that's happened, and historically speaking, that's.
If I knew
I
him
don't think that's
personally,
gonna.
I could see where you're going. I don't know him personally.
Yeah.
He's a face. He's a black face on the screen. And trust me, the trial that I was on the jury for was a murder trial. They were trying to convict two black men who didn't have particularly clean histories of murder, but the state was not able to make their case. So I was not going to let that go through because the evidence was not there. So I get it. Trust me, I get the distrust of the justice system that black people have. I totally understand that. But this is also a rich black man. Okay.
Sure.
So if he was not well to do, then I would be a little bit more concerned.
Sure, he's wealthy, but the prosecution have more money behind them than even someone like John Majors. If they want to put the resources in, they can put the resources in. Like prosecution, they can equally match like any millionaire or whatever like that. So saying that, I get what you're saying. Obviously, it gives you more of an opportunity, more of a chance, but the state is always. I think always has a lot of an advantage in these situations.
I think they're more invested in convicting Trump than they are in convicting Jonathan Majors.
Yeah, and that's gonna happen too. Yeah, whatever.
It depends, though.
If they had a better case, they wouldn't be doing so much trying in the court of public opinion. That's just my thought.
Yeah, I wonder.
That's what I think.
About what they have done in response to what Major's lawyer is putting out? Because I will agree, it's been much less. When I think about like a hierarchy of evidence, obviously physical evidence is king, right? If we can place your fingerprint or your DNA anywhere, that's as close to 100% as we can get. But then there's eyewitness. Way down on the bottom is like prior history, right? Because it doesn't speak to the actual crime that we're here to
No, but it's the idea is to establish a pattern that we can't prove that he actually beat this woman.
I'm asking Felicity though.
But there's no convictions though of those.
Right.
There's no conviction, so they'll
Oh,
just be
I'm
here
not
saying
saying- I'm
sorry,
not saying-
but Felicity, yeah, as he was asking the question, but
I'm sorry, I missed the question because we're all kind of. What was the question?
As far as what the prosecution is giving us in terms of, the restraining order, in terms of, the corroborating former lovers or girlfriend or whatever, how do you see them, since that's what they came out of the gate with? Do you feel like they're holding stuff in the tuck, or do you feel like that's what they have? That's what they're going to go into trial with?
Well, the stuff that they're giving us in the press is never all the stuff that there is, to the case. That goes to, the actual jury that they're gonna select. There's a lot of salacious stuff going on, with the, whole texting other girls while you're dating somebody else. And obviously he is a celebrity. But look, like I said, I don't have the investment that some of you guys seem to have in Jonathan Majors. My hope is that he just gets his day in court and it goes as well as possible. I don't have any evidence that the state of New York and the District of Manhattan has something particularly out against Black men. Maybe they do. But like I said, I feel like they probably have something against Trump more than they do against Jonathan Majors. I feel like that they really would have rather not had to do anything.
But
with this case,
it
but
might
they're
not be.
obligated.
It might be a mix of things. You might have a prosecution lawyer who may not be necessarily racist or have a kind of racial animus, but
the DA is Black, by the way. Just
DA or whatever, but
there,
maybe she's strongly feminist or something like that, right? Really super feminist, and she's taken this case on as it's a kind of mission of hers to take this guy down. But
why do you think that?
Nonetheless,
maybe it's not personally against Majors. Maybe it's not personally against Majors. She is known for taking some very high profile cases. Before she drafted the suit against Trump, she was going after Facebook and Google for antitrust issues. So she has been known to take on very verbose, high profile cases as her sitting DA in New York. I don't know if it's personal to Majors, but if Majors is another tick in that list of high profile cases that she's handled, that reads in some kind of way for me.
That could be the case as well. That could be the case as well. But I my point was that even if she has a kind of another motivation, she may be willing to use certain vulnerabilities, or including being Black, and the vulnerabilities that has to a defendant within the criminal justice system. She may be willing to use that even unconsciously against him without necessarily meaning to, but it just happens that way.
Maybe they're prosecuting Jonathan Majors just to prove they're not racist against Trump.
Perhaps.
So you're saying that there's no possibility that he can get a fair trial at this point? Is that what you're saying?
No, I didn't say that. I didn't. I mean, there's no possibility he can get a fair trial if you're talking about what's already happened, because they've already started doing things that really you ought not to be doing. But once the trial happens, can they get a by pressing the charges? No, I meant more the leaking of things to the public. I mean, he still is entitled to innocence until proven guilty.
She was a feminist.
I think a deciding factor that's not being addressed. I think a deciding factor that's not being addressed is how bad Quantum Mania was. And people are going, that movie sucks.
So if Ant-Man was
I don't give a damn what happened.
The arrest,
because this movie, they go, you know what? If we convict Jonathan Majors, maybe they're going to scrap Kang and they're going to go with Dr. Doom.
With the X-Men, maybe she's an MCU fan who wants.
Maybe she's an MCU fanboy and she doesn't like Kang and she's more into this Dr. Doom, and she's pushing. See, she wants,
thing was orchestrated by
fanboy. She's a DC fanboy. Get Jonathan Majors
I
fired
mean,
from Marvel.
I'll
Get him to
tell you.
DC and play Mr. Terrific. That
I'll-
could be a possibility. Us
I'll
comic
tell
book
you
fanboys
what.
are crazy.
Jaded, I would hide exculpatory evidence if I could take down the MCU.
Yeah.
I mean,
Shut up, nerd. Shut up. But I would go back to, I would say too, like, you know, there's another aspect I think could be, and you know, cause conspiracy, whatever. But I think Hollywood could be like, this guy is getting too big, you know what I mean? And we have to make sure we bring him down to, maybe they offered him a role that he didn't want to take, and they're like, okay, well, you know what? We're gonna show that you're not as big as you are, right? I think I've watched like a lot of artists and a lot of these actors that formerly whatever, and they say certain things about things that happen in Hollywood, and I believe that could be a case too. I believe it'd be that. I
So
believe
he
it could
wouldn't
be
go
the
to the
racist
island?
cop. It wouldn't go to what?
He wouldn't go to the island with the rest of Hollywood?
I
Yeah,
was just
pretty
getting ready to
much.
bring that up because I never miss an opportunity to bring up the fact that Hollywood is ran by the entire flight list to Epstein Island. But yet here we are with Majors. But I think that's
what I was gonna say, Mr. Vic. That's exactly what I was gonna
Yeah,
say.
that's what I was pretty much addressing as well.
Referencing,
too.
yeah.
Yes, 100%. That could be a possibility. Like, we can't think that that's not.
I think what Jada said about Ant-Man making more money, I know it was a joke, but like there's some truth to that, because if that's a Billy, doesn't Disney fight a little bit harder to kind of curb this narrative?
That's right. If that movie made $1 billion,
a little bit harder. Hey, ABC, let's get a pro Majors.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
To protect the money, you don't think they would do it?
No,
they
wouldn't.
About it. But what if this is
Tell me why? Tell me why. Because I have an example of somebody doing it, but tell me why it wouldn't happen for Majors.
Because Hollywood is so known for having scruples, really. They're just so known for having their scruples.
Right.
No, that's the opposite of scruples. But anyway.
Yeah, that's the opposite of scruples. Covering up a crime to keep someone out of jail is
even though
they don't have any scruples.
Even though we all watch the movies, because you know we're fans of all this stuff, this is not where Disney makes the majority of its money. The majority of its money comes from things like ESPN, you know, the sports contracts, you know, and real estate.
Theme parks as well.
Theme parks.
Yeah, and the theme parks.
Not anymore.
So.
Still yes,
no,
more.
According
yes,
to the balance sheet, yeah.
Okay.
The movies is really the smallest part.
Not that it's
money
the driving, you know, the revenue driver for the entire company, but they surely can't afford to have some of the negative properties that or the decreased value in properties that they've had.
I think
that ends up being an overachiever. That makes it even more likely that they want to protect.
I think years ago you might have been right, but
not
post
now.
Me Too, post all of that kind of stuff, I think that, you know, it's more on the consciousness of these companies to distance themselves from these kind of individuals.
I'm saying they pick and choose who they do that to. And there's a shining example of someone that they're currently protecting so that they can get some money back on a movie that they've been making for 9 years. Now, there's a difference between those two people. And I was trying to kind of guide y'all to it. But there's one obvious difference between the person that WB is protecting and the person that Disney is choosing not to.
Yeah, but also Ant-Man and the Wasp. Ant-Man Quantumania is already out. So
wait a minute, because one is trans and one is
the Flash hasn't come out
that's
yet.
That's not what
I know that's not what you're saying. I'm saying that's one big difference. You would be right if this was post Flash and WB was still protecting Ezra Miller.
Oh, you think they're going to cut bait with Ezra Miller post Flash?
I think unless he comes out with some serious defense for the shit that you know has happened with him, that's been covered with everything. I think unless something happens with that, they're cutting ties. The reason they're protecting him now because the Flash is coming out.
When the movie goes out, that is the last movie Flash.
It would not have. I don't know why. Okay.
There's
so
videos.
they cut Henry Cavill completely out of that movie. Henry Cavill, the whole Supergirl arc was supposed to be Henry Cavill Superman, right? They cut that out of the movie, replaced it with the Supergirl thing. You're telling me that if it
What are
meant
you
that much
talking
to
about?
you
They
not
didn't
to
do
have
that.
that Ezra Miller stain,
That was
you
just
couldn't have done that
you
with the
made
Flash
that up.
character?
You
No
made that
one's
up.
seen this movie. You've been making it for a
You
decade.
made that
What would
up
it
just
matter?
now, Marcus. Marcus, I understand where you're coming from, but that was just made up. Supergirl was always in the movie from the very beginning. There was never a Henry Cavill in that role. He's never been in that role.
So then why all the other
cameo.
Snyderverse characters except for Supergirl? Why was it Batfleck? Why are we doing Ezra Miller Flash? Everybody else, with the exception of Keaton, is Snyderverse. So why wouldn't it have made it sense for that to be Henry Cavill? Why wouldn't it have made sense for that to be Henry Cavill?
Well,
What are you talking about? I don't even understand what you're saying.
Well, if you're talking about could have been, then yeah. But originally, he was never going to be in that role. Because if we let's look at, and the Black Adam proves this. Look at how much hoops Dwayne Johnson had to go through just to bring Henry Cavill back. Walter Hamada did not want Henry Cavill back.
Y'all are forgetting that this Flash movie has been being made for like almost 10 years. It's stretched over multiple regimes of production. Right. So yeah, obviously the story has changed. But if you're trying to convince me that way back in 2013, that it was Supergirl and not Henry Cavill that was in that movie.
They didn't even have the movie. They had no idea they were going to make that movie.
Years, nerd man, they've been making.
Yeah, but not that movie. There was different directors that came on.
That's what I've been saying. So
like Fumiyawa was just going to make an origin story of the Flash. It wasn't going to be a Flashpoint movie.
But here's my.
It was a Flash. It was made into a Flashpoint movie. Maybe like I don't know.
Is that not what I've been saying though? Like eventually it changed into what it is today because it stretched over multiple production heads, multiple heads of studios. But at some point, I
but your point initially, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that Henry Cavill was in the movie and they took him out at great cost to themselves. So why wouldn't they be able to take Ezra Miller out if they really wanted to? But Henry was never in the movie. Henry Cavill was never in the movie.
I think Marcus
it was always Supergirl. That's my point.
No, but
they didn't film Henry Cavill in that role and then swap it with Supergirl.
There were no Henry Cavill cuts in the Flash movie.
I think
there was a Henry Cavill cameo,
Superman.
The plan was okay. I mean, we don't. Neither one of us are going to know for sure. That was just my train of thinking that if Superman was in it originally and we pivoted to Supergirl, why
there's a lot of comparisons to be made between Ezra and Jonathan Majors, but the one you're making is not it. That's all I'm saying.
But here's what I want to say. Wasn't there an article that came out where Warner Brothers said that they have not confirmed that they're replacing Ezra Miller yet?
They don't want to hurt the movie.
Waiting for the results of the movie, and if the results of the movie are positive,
they'll keep him.
Ezra Miller.
Yes,
they're not going to keep him. They're not going to keep him.
Other than the positioning,
he's too much trouble.
When they're deciding on to release or not to release. Other than that, we have someone who's been accused of a crime.
You know how much insurance they would have to pay on fucking Ezra Miller if they put him in a movie now.
Yeah,
but the insurance you'd have to pay.
But Ezra Miller
he's made a movie. He's made a movie called Dollyland, right? Like it's it's a movie I was actually looking forward to.
Anzo, they don't even
craziness.
Anzo,
and
when
in the trailer, he doesn't even feature in the fucking trailer. Sorry.
No, but whether they believe it or not, they could always say, "Oh, Ezra Miller got help. He's good. This is why we're keeping him."
No, that's just
they're not keeping
to get to June. They don't. Nobody believes that. That's just a way to survive a few more months, and they're like, "Ooh, 6 more weeks."
I can't wait post June to see what they actually do, and we can all come back and talk about it. I really
and at that point, we can all come back and talk about it and compare.
It will not be forgiven.
This will do nothing. They will do nothing. They said they weren't going to do anything with him. They gave him an ultimatum of either getting help or not getting help. And if he got help, they were still going to release the movie.
Listen how they talk about him. He was going through hard things.
Let me tell you what they
He's
said. Let me
working
tell you
to
what they
get
said.
back.
Yeah, because they have a
They're
movie
just
in June.
mitigating the PR. That's all
He
they're
said
doing.
PR.
They're trying to keep the crazy PR
He was
off of
either
this.
going
And
to
if they keep it
join
off of
them
him
at
and the movie succeeds,
Doesn't
you
matter.
think then it's going to be an advantageous time to say, get the hell out, Ezra Miller?
Yes.
After you did all this talking
They're gonna
up?
say, "Phew, we made it."
Marcus, can I help?
They're gonna say, "Oh my God, thank God."
Can I help your point here?
Are they not in a much better position when we're closer to the things he actually did, as opposed to when everybody loves him from this movie that we're going to watch in June?
Marcus, can I help your point? Because
Oh,
I think you've got a good. I think there is a good point here. Management teams of say Johnny Depp. I think Arnie Hammer. I looked at the timeline of Arnie Hammer. Ezra Miller, same thing. They didn't abandon them after these kind of things, these controversies came out within a few weeks. Your management team are specifically there, supposed to be there in case of these scenarios. So if the court case comes out and there isn't incredible evidence that they knew of prior that shows Jonathan Majors guilt, then there is definite bias in the fact that they dropped him so quickly. Right, so stuff like that is like where I'm like, wait, what's the fuck's going on? The stuff with Flash, if I was in the position of like a filmmaker or whatever, the way they've acted with Jonathan Majors and the way they've acted with Ezra Miller, I think I'd do something similar. I mean, if my movie, a 300 million movie, is about to come out and this guy's just done all this wacky shit, I'll try and hold that off, control the PR as much as I possibly can until the movie drops. And then post that, I'll see what I'll do with it. Jonathan Majors, what they've done with him, I can kind of understand. What the management team did with him, I don't really get that. I don't get why I think his PR team, did his PR team drop him as well?
Yeah.
Right? That doesn't make sense. Unless they know something
Disney has
that
moved
we
away
do not
from
know.
him. He has no money coming in. He cannot pay them, so they left. That's the bottom line with
Disney
that.
hasn't moved away from him.
They haven't announced it publicly, but when you lose your team that quickly early on in this process, that is what is happening. He does not have the funds to
When will
pay.
it be public? So when will we find out about this? After his court case? When will we know Disney officially, the announcements and the headlines are out? When will that be?
Is his PR team more expensive than his legal team?
Because
I guess maybe you can only pay one. Maybe you can only pay one if you don't have no money coming in.
Because if he's found innocent and like, okay, he didn't do it, it's all bull, right? Well, we got rid of him, but we didn't announce it, so we can still keep him, right?
Yeah.
So,
right, exactly. You could have done that privately, Felicity. You didn't have to do that as a big public spectacle. You could have gone to John Majors and gone, look, dude, you can't really afford us right now. We don't know about your innocence or guilt at the moment, so we're just gonna keep hush. But as of now, you're not really with us.
That's why this is happening.
But how did that get out to the public? Because surely that's what Arnie Hammer's team would have done as well, or as I said, Ezra Miller's team might have done something similar because he's got no jobs coming in. I can tell you all his shit's been cancelled. So the only thing he's got going for him is the Flash, and that's already done. So once that's done, it's over. So I don't understand the distinction in that. Like, why are these people, before anything has been proven, dropping him from galas and this and that? And I don't remember hearing, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't remember hearing that for Johnny Depp. I don't remember hearing that for any of these people in that situation. That quickly, 2 weeks.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
They were heavily pushing him prior to this coming out. Like every interviewer was like, "Oh, Jonathan Majors is so great in this movie."
Yes.
Okay.
He was that guy.
The reason why they dropped him like a bad habit is because they realized something went wrong, and they were pushing him inappropriately when there was evidence out there that something was going on. So
But
that's why they dropped him like a
So
bad
you
habit,
think they
and that's
have
why
evidence?
yes, yes, that
Okay.
conglomerates like
Could be.
Disney, they have like I think it was maybe before you came on. They have detectives and retired cops working for them on payroll to find this type of stuff out. So they should have known if there was something going wrong. And for them to drop him so quickly after it came out in the public that he was charged with this, I feel like they know that they're in trouble
There's
if
been
they
prior
continue with this guy.
incidents. Do you mean there's been prior incidents that they're aware of?
Probably.
Probably where the old girlfriends come in play, right?
So
Sources also keep that stuff
if there's
possible.
yeah, but if there's prior evidence, I'm sure some of that would have leaked by now.
Look how quickly this one moved.
or they
Like,
wouldn't
I
even
mean,
have hired him.
there has to. No. I think they could have hired him, but like I'm saying that, and then when this came out, then they went back and looked at some stuff and whatever. But I just don't believe if there was like. I don't believe nothing would have leaked. Not like nothing at all would have leaked about like some kind of a couple of directors have said that he was a bit of an asshole, but that's the best we've got. What else has come out?
But
he's black. You don't need much.
But what I'm saying, if you have these teams, right? If you have these guys that can find out information, then you do that stuff before you hire somebody. You don't hire somebody and then after you got him, like, okay, let's look into the situation. Oh, wow, this is messed up. No.
Yeah, I thought
Jonathan Majors was vetted before he got hired.
You have to be
100%. Yeah, but
he should have been. He should have been, but I mean, look at how far we got with Victoria Alonso and her stuff that happened with Marvel.
Oh, I got something to say, Felicity, about I got something to say about Victoria Alonso, the coward, because you were on this big stage. We're not going to stand with a Bob Chapek. We're putting our foot down. DeSantis, we stand for something. We have. Let me just sign that non-disclosure agreement. I'll take my payout, and we're good to go.
Yeah, now it's all gone. She's not talking no more. Yeah, that's how it goes.
You lose respect. And I would have been like, all right, let's go. Let's hear these statements. And she was saying stuff like, we make the movies. And I'm like, ooh, like an untrained person from the inside is about to give us the insight. And then all these causes mattered to you, right? Because she was lesbian. She wanted to further. She wanted to promote advocacy.
She saw her money went bye-bye.
And she got fired for cause.
Yeah.
She got fired for cause.
Initially she got fired for cause. But that is going out the window now that they've settled. Because they were going to take her to court, or she was going to take them to court over it, and that's why they decided to settle amicably. I would have much rather seen Disney take it to court. If you fired her for cause, then you should be able to show that. I think that they would have to also admit that the quality of their property had dropped considerably, because if you're firing the head of your VX for cause, that means your product sucks at a certain level.
No, they fired her for cause. That doesn't change, but the problem is they didn't want their dirty laundry aired in court.
Well, yes.
That's the only reason she was. They probably anticipated that she was going to do this and say, "Oh, you fired a gay Latina." They trust me. They anticipated this, and they probably already had a settlement number in mind before it went too far.
Yeah, but then do you if you know that there's a number out there that you can come to before doing all this, do you even fire her for cause? Why don't you just go to her with a package and try to make it happen amicably? That certainly plays better.
Why pay when you don't have to? Why pay when you don't have to? They obviously felt like at that point they weren't going to go any further.
But you just told me they had a number in mind to buy her out. If you're not going to pay,
they're prepared.
Thinking about they're not going to pay.
I'm not even thinking about Marvel's case. I'm just looking at Victoria Alonso. If you want to speak out and you want to be a change in the world, and you're here to stick it up to the corporations who are hurting you guys, you're not. You're a fake. You were illegitimate. You are not. Like, there's people we respect. There's people like Muhammad Ali, different cause, but man went to jail. Like, there's a difference between people who put their foot on the line or not just jail, but they risk themselves, or do they do something?
Was it this situation with Disney that showed to you that Alonso was fake? Like, I mean, the whole X-Men thing. Oh, it's an outdated term, because the idea that man can't mean a species, a species of person as opposed to a gender is lost on Victoria Alonso. Like stuff like that didn't send the red flag. Like this person is disingenuous.
Question number 3 of 33 burning Jonathan Majors questions.
The whole company is disingenuous.
But okay, go. So the thing you were saying about I've forgotten now, man. I've forgotten.
X-Men.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't even the X-Men. It wasn't even the X-Men thing. It was back on Jonathan Majors.
Third question: what right do we fans have to pry into an actor's personal life like this? None.
Unless it starts jeopardizing the product we're enjoying.
I say we do if this is an issue between racial disparities between cops and people, and it's a good lesson to show you, like, it doesn't matter how much money you have, you're just a victim of this lying coming from a cop side. Plus we're fans, so we're semi-interested, semi-invested. I think we do have a little bit of a right. Jada Fanboy said no.
Well, no, because the only reason you care is because he's playing Kang in the movie. If he was,
I would care just because.
If it was Jonathan Majors was playing a secondary character in, the first Ant-Man movie that nobody watched or cared about, nobody would care.
If a cop told a woman that you should be able to, tell them that we choked, tell them it was a choke, we care. We care about Emmett Till.
But that never would have been out. It's only because Jonathan Majors is playing a major character in a major franchise. That's the only reason we care.
Oh.
No,
like Ezra Miller.
The
only reason we care about Ezra Miller is because he was Flash.
Not necessarily jaded, because if I had seen a video for like that on the OOC, I would have definitely brought that up.
Oh well, that's
just a regular cop doing that to some regular person, I would have talked about that.
But would it have come out though? Is the question, because God knows. Yes, you are covering the ones that are out. But guaranteed, there's thousands of them that you're never going to know about. You know what I mean?
What do you think about this? Do us as fans, what business do we have to pry into their personal lives? Rosales Comics.
Oh, me. Oh. We have about as much right as is allowed by the law. If they're out in public and they're doing public things, that's what we have a right to see. We don't have a right to go snooping through their things. That would essentially be illegal if we did it on our own. So whatever's out there. Now, as far as Josh Brolin being arrested back in 2009 for domestic violence, he got his day in court. As yet, Jonathan Majors hasn't had his. So
I was going to say about the information that that would lead to the management team and PR team dropping him. I would have thought that would have to be new information, not something that they could have discovered a while ago. Like, for instance, these women who have supposedly come out and who have come forward and said that he did these things to them, which doesn't. Again, if there's no record of it, it's kind of still hearsay. There has to be some kind of proof. Like they went to the cops at least. You have to have some prior veracity to the statement that, hey, these, at least they reported this to the police before.
Big Bro says, wasn't Josh Brolin arrested back in 2009 for domestic violence? He still gets to play Thanos. Yeah, they hired him afterwards, but we were in a less.
He was already working for Marvel at that point too. He had played Cable, right? Or did that movie come out yet?
Oh, you got your years. 2009? No.
Yeah.
Stick it to the corporations. It's Disney. Oh, the bravery. She was so close to basically being Katie Porter. Rogue says, we pay for their content. We have a right to everything, including colonoscopy test results.
It's the fact that you want colonoscopy test reports. That's what bothers me, Rogue Comics.
Are you just saying that randomly, or does that have something to do with Chadwick Boseman died from colon cancer, and so you want to know if they live? Is that, or is you just randomly saying something like that?
No, I think
people's personal health. I think we should keep that to themselves. No matter what they got going on with them, they should be able to keep it to themselves. But he's probably joking.
Dana White out here just living his life.
Facts.
Where did he do that at? Where was that? It was in Miami.
In Vegas. It was in Vegas.
I thought it was in Cancun. I thought it was.
I thought it was Mexico.
Oh.
Was it Mexico?
Oh, maybe I thought it was Vegas, but it could be.
Yeah, so he was within his rights there.
And she slapped him first. She did slap him first.
She did. But I mean, again, but if that's the level of allowance we're going to give to Dana White, are we going to give any of that to Jonathan Majors? Are we even going to ask if she started the altercation? In the
Hey,
back of
what
the truck?
happens in Mexico stays in
Stays in
Mexico. I
Mexico.
mean,
Yeah,
look.
of course.
They merged his company with the WWE. Don't think there wasn't
Yes, they
any kind of
did.
consequences.
So who's a bigger dirtbag actor in Marvel then? Bigger than Jonathan Majors? Who's bigger? Don't say. No one can say Brie Larson right now. By the way,
Why not?
Brie Larson.
wrong answer.
Who plays
Rosales,
Spider-Man?
don't you got to be somewhere right now, Rosales? Aren't we like taking into your time right now? You have to go, don't you?
Who plays Spider-Man?
Tom Holland.
Yeah,
yeah,
there you
him.
go. Tom Holland. Tom Holland.
Wow.
Complete dirtbag.
Because
Complete dirtbag.
because
For
Tom
playing-
Holland because Tom Holland has absolutely destroyed the Spider-Man franchise.
Oh my God.
Here
We
we
don't have
go.
time for this shit.
What happened to the actor that plays Kamala Khan's father?
Yes!
There was some
Thank you!
stuff. There
Thank
was some
you
stuff
for
that
listening.
happened with some texts with a younger
With the
person.
minor.
Mhm.
He's still heavily featured in the commercial, the trailer.
And
Yes.
now did his management team drop him? Has Marvel slowly moved away from him? We saw him front and center in the trailer for the Marvels.
First of all, these are allegations that came out in November, was it? And now we are in the month of April.
I didn't know about
And I'm
that.
saying,
he was
why
in
are
a
we
Marvel
interrupting
trailer.
Killmonger
He
when
was in a
Killmonger is
Marvel
trying to
trailer.
defend this man?
He was
Listen,
in, that's the thing too.
if what you're saying is this man sent photos to you on text messages, okay, these are things that are verifiable. There's digital proofs. So now that the allegation has been made, it's been 5 months since, and no, work has been done. There's no evidence out. Therefore, I cannot give credence to these allegations. I will leave them at allegations. If photos were really sent and inappropriate stuff was really being said, then and it was over the phone, then the telephone companies still have it, and you didn't find it and you didn't show it to the public. I don't believe it.
I'm not
So
asking
it wasn't an
you
actual
to
court
litigate
case,
this,
though, right?
I'm just asking, what are they doing with it as opposed to what they're doing with someone else's court case? That's all.
Yeah.
Who's that someone else?
Disney.
Jonathan.
No, but Jonathan Majors?
Yeah.
I guess for both, they're waiting until he's proven guilty.
Yeah, but if we believe what we've kind of gathered here on the panel, if his management team has moved away from him, Disney's probably moving away from him. Why haven't we gotten similar communication about Kamala Khan's dad?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's
Well,
actually
and
gone to
that's-
court. I haven't heard anything, but I remember the allegations coming out. So
Okay.
those are serious allegations, especially if you're a company that's supposedly family entertainment.
Yeah.
And then
but,
again, do you want to be caught picking and choosing which of the accusees get to stay? Same thing with the recast stuff. Do you want to get caught with your hand in the cookie jar saying, oh, well, this accusee is okay, but that one's a little too spicy? Do you want to really be caught in the middle of doing that constantly?
Yeah, but Rogue Comics, just to answer you real quick, he's not comparable, but he's not heavily featured either. He could be easily edited out of the movie.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I mean,
okay, he can be edited out, but in that trailer, and I noticed this the day it came out. When that Marvel trailer came out, the dad showed up in the trailer. As soon as he showed up in the trailer, there should have been people just like Jonathan Majors getting on like, why is he in this trailer? Why is he in this movie? Yada yada yada. I probably only seen one.
Yeah, but they don't know him. That's the problem.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I only seen one person on one post about it. I only probably seen one person calling out, and then people saw the tweet of the person calling out and did videos on it. But it's just like,
and what exactly happened?
Marcus does have a point. Marcus does have a point. If Disney's going to get to a point, just like a lot of people are going to be picking and choosing these allegations, like, okay, let's say they get an actor that is accused of being a serial killer, and an actor that's accused of touching kids or whatever. How will there's going to be a point where they can't keep defending these people.
You got to pick a lane.
Wait. Two questions. One, what did he do? And two, I have to call bullshit on the fact that Disney has dropped him, because if Disney had have really dropped him, I think we would have heard about it.
They're not going to advertise it.
Yeah. Okay, so they're not going to advertise it. But why would
someone from the inside?
Why would the PR?
The indication.
Why would the people that he's have dropped him from other movies? Why would they advertise it? I don't get why.
Yeah, I don't think Disney has
because
it.
So
The
if
trades-
you're saying that the reason that information has come out is because it got leaked, and in fact it was supposed to be private between themselves and Jonathan Majors, that he'd been dropped from these movies and dropped from PR and whatever, then surely we would have heard about Disney as well, that hey, Disney are dropping him. They haven't done it yet, but because they're waiting
There's
for
been
whatever.
rumors, but nothing confirmed. You're right. There's nothing confirmed like his talent
It
agent.
was
But I think-
advertised in the trades that his companies moved away from him.
Mhm.
Those trades are ways of communication for people in the industry.
Yeah.
That was a signal to the industry that yes, because
Of racial bias.
his people have moved away from him. That's a sign that Disney has moved away from him. Also, they're just not going to say that directly in the trades. They don't want to, deal with that smoke, because then they want us coming after them for showing bias. But that is the sign.
But the management
to everybody
team
else
and
in
the
the
PR
industry.
team want us to be coming after them.
Racism. Question number 5 is: did you recognize his girlfriend was in Quantumania? I didn't.
Oh, she was an actor?
Yeah.
I thought she was like a production person.
I thought actor. Because she's like a model.
Yeah, I'm just if this is the case and they do end up, dropping Jonathan, let's say he did do it, which is a different case than the guy who's playing Kamala's dad but has allegations. And look, we already seen them do it with Johnny Depp. They already dropped Johnny Depp for allegations. So if y'all gonna drop Johnny Depp, then drop Miss Marvel. Because if you're gonna keep a guy that if you're gonna keep a guy that has allegations of touching children, not saying he did it or not, but allegations of touching children, and if you're gonna drop Johnny for slapping his girlfriend up, not saying it's better, but compared to touching kids, yeah, that's slapping your girlfriend, yeah, is bad. But that is touching kids.
Even if Jonathan Majors gets dropped, wait 5 years. A24 will make a movie like The Whale. Hire Jonathan Majors and it'll get back into the public domain again.
You know what?
Does he have to semi-retire for half a decade?
Semi-retire for half a decade. A24 will still be around making their crappy movies.
I mean,
I just think one of the reasons
that does happen to a lot of black actors. That's usually we seen Wesley Snipes. He got taken out the game, came back later.
Not just black actors, it happened to RDJ. I mean,
RDJ too, but it happens.
You mean Chris Tucker, right? You were thinking of
OG black actors.
Chris Tucker, yeah.
They took a break. Even Dave Chappelle took that long break from comedy, came back, did those specials, and he's back.
But he beat women. I mean,
none of those guys have those allegations. Kind of different, right? Yeah. But I think the reason why Marvel hasn't said anything yet, if they did or not, like we'll never know that until they actually say it. But I think it's because they learned from the James Gunn thing, right? They fired him too quick, and then they had to bring him back for Guardians of the Galaxy 3. So I think they're actually waiting to find out what happens with the case before they announce anything with Jonathan.
Yeah, it could be just that the management team, maybe the management team are more convinced that
wants to tell us about this Anthony D'Alessandro article here. Got to read these guys' names because I'm going to notice the pattern of how much reporting that they do and how one-sided it is. So Majors and manager Entertainment 360 have parted ways. The actor is facing domestic violence allegations in New York City. What am I supposed to look at? What's so damning?
No, I just wanted you to have it since we were talking about the subject.
And she's saying the fact that it's being reported through a trade like Deadline or Variety means it's pretty much tied directly to a studio from their mouth to Deadline's lips.
Exactly. It's a line of communication between the studios and the industry.
So you don't think the management team put it out there? It's the studios that put it out there.
They probably, I wouldn't be surprised if Disney orchestrate, okay, so if the talent agencies connect people to Disney and then the trades write stories to continue to have access to Disney, it really honestly isn't too far-fetched for me to kind of put that together and say, well, damn, if Disney truly is moving away from them, they could drive this entire narrative without ever putting their names on it. They'll simply tell the talent agency, we're not going to be staffing Jonathan anymore. They will in turn probably leak at the Deadline. Deadline will report that they're no longer dealing with him, which signals to people in the industry, like Felicity said, that his employer is probably done with him. If his talent agency is done with him, then his employer is probably done with him, and that's maybe the train of thought there.
But me and Anzo will tell you it's the system trying to give him as much negative press as they can while they still can.
Sure.
But they were promoting him. They were heavily promoting him right before this happened. Remember? All the interviews.
I don't know if you
Ant-Man Quantumania. Oh, Jonathan Majors is the best thing in this film.
But it's easier for them
right
to
when
believe.
this happened, dropped like a bad habit.
I don't know if you remember.
It's easier for them to believe a black guy did this.
Go.
It's easier for them to believe a black guy did this than a white guy. That's my feeling. They might not consciously want to say that, but like that is the thing for me. I think it's much easier for a lot of the Hollywood types, a lot of other types, to believe a black guy is capable of doing this thing than other types of people. It's really.
I agree.
I don't think it's that they've got some evidence that.
Nope,
that
they got racial bias, and they've got years of it, and they've been programmed. And you know what? There's not counter programming, which shows lead protagonists, black superheroes, and just like positive role models in major franchises with $200 million budgets. And maybe if there were enough of those things in the media, in the zeitgeist, then they wouldn't view Jonathan Majors. The cop wouldn't have thought, I know what you did. And then the DA wouldn't have followed through on it. I don't care if the DA is black herself.
To be fair to them, I do believe that they've heard maybe a couple more allegations against him, but I don't think they are. I don't think that they are allegations that are, like he was like there's some record of it, like he was arrested. He's certainly not been convicted. Otherwise, we would have heard about that already.
That's right.
It's simple allegations. A couple more women maybe have said that he did something to them. And they're going with that. That's what
I'll
I
make
believe.
a video on that day that news comes out. Chillmonger's making a YouTube video. I'll collab with you two, Nerdman, and we can cover it. But that day's not coming, right, Marcus?
Yeah. I wanted to say something before I get out of here about what Felicity was talking about, how the trades turned on him. It's kind of, at least it signaled to me kind of what the talent agency dropping him signaled to you about Disney, right? Because you were right. Everything from E.T. to Access Hollywood to anybody covering celebrities had Jonathan Majors' face all over it. And then all of a sudden, it switches, right? After this stuff comes out, it immediately starts painting him as the villain. And it slowly progressed into him, being dropped. And now we're having the court case on the 8th. But the changeover was almost as sudden as the story dropping. So, but I think about what you said in terms of how they can kind of control the narrative. That seems orchestrated to me for it to change on a dime. Every single one of these outlets over multiple platforms, that seems kind of orchestrated.
What you mean that? You mean they planned it prior to?
No. I'm not saying that this is a conspiracy to get him out of there. I'm saying once they smelled trouble, they rallied the horses. Is kind of what it felt like to me. Once they smelled trouble, they rallied the horses and they started to consolidate themselves. And so now everything we hear about Jonathan Majors is negative. There's nothing connecting it. When they talk about him, they talk about The Last Black Man in San Francisco, which nobody talks about that movie when they're talking about Jonathan Majors. But now all of a sudden, I can't stop seeing it in articles because they will not say that he's the Ant-Man star anymore. Why is that?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, I tend to agree with some of what Felicity is saying. How they orchestrated it. I just don't know if they signaled strong enough whether or not they're completely done or if they're hanging them out to dry.
And that's where I come into where some of the Hollywood stuff, I believe, he didn't want to put on that dress. And it's like, you know what? All right, we're going to slander you now. I believe that stuff, right? I'm not saying that's the case, but that's an option that you at least have to consider.
It's exactly how it went down. They're dragging him now because they have the outlet to do so, thanks to that dirty ass cop who showed up in their home and said, I know you're guilty because I can see it in your face.
Hey, y'all, appreciate everybody's time. Thanks for having me on, Chill.
You too.
Back up the
Marcus. they wanted Jonathan Majors to wear a dress, and he didn't. He
No,
said,
Chill.
I'm saying that could be a possibility.
Oh,
He didn't
right,
want to
okay.
play. He didn't want to
Right.
play by
He
their
didn't want to
rules.
do. He didn't. Right. He didn't want to play by the rules. He didn't. They asked him to do something that he probably didn't want to do, and it's like, okay, well, you know what? You were one of the biggest things possible, but now we're gonna show you that you're not bigger than us.
Chill. Hold on, wait a minute. Chill. I'm a little disappointed in you because it took an hour and 36 minutes to somehow pivot to T'Challa. I am disappointed. It took an hour and 36 minutes. It should have been way sooner.
You're an idiot.
Yeah, I don't know that that's the case. I think they invested a lot in this guy. I don't think they're particularly happy that this is happening. I mean, really, it looks bad for them.
And let's remind everyone why
It
it's
looks
happening.
bad for their universe.
Because a cop showed up when he dialed 911 just to have medical attention for his woman. And a cop decided, I'm going to be a monster and terrorize this human being's life with an arrest. I'm going to tell the woman that he actually choked you. I'm going to direct her to say that he choked you. Even if I'm wearing a body cam, it doesn't matter. I have that much control.
Dude, we need to wait for this shit to come out, bro.
I am saying it and I'll continue saying it for
with
10
absolute
days,
conviction.
And then 10 days from now, we'll all say it together. We'll be all
sure. I mean, I don't know if the guy's innocent. I mean, I'm not gonna go out on a limb and just say that the guy's just innocent just because.
Come on, just join my side. He's innocent.
No, I you know, I tend to think that because of what I've seen, but I haven't seen much. You know,
times like this, we need to unite, come together.
Yeah, come together like Thor says.
You have to have the full information.
Yeah, but you got the wrong Thor.
Yeah.
Yeah. And wait, let me, because I know you want to pivot to the question. I'll just say this.
Yes, I do. Thank you, Jacqueline, for realizing. Yes.
And I will say, if he does do some jail time for this, all I'm gonna say is this: he's gonna be in the position Wesley Snipes is in. You notice when he went to jail for his little tax evasion stuff, did some time when he came out. If they do decide to give him any work in the future, it's gonna be like probably straight to DVD stuff. And hopefully maybe, you know, someone like Eddie Murphy comes out the cuts and say, hey man, I want you to do some work.
Listen,
you know, like Eddie Murphy did for Wesley.
If he goes to jail for this, he is done. Tax evasion, that could be something that could, you know, it's tax evasion.
Yeah.
If he goes to jail for this, he's done. They're not putting him in anything.
Yeah. I don't know where you get that from.
Hopefully,
I'm not. Look, I'm saying if he does the time, and let's say it is not too much, he does some time and he gets out for it. But when he gets out, he's not going to get those opportunities. I would say he's going to be
not going to get any opportunities.
He's not. It doesn't matter if he goes to jail. If he gets found guilty,
he might get some years down the line.
No,
This is Hollywood. I mean,
he's not, because they're always going to be that. Oh, you guys are hiring this guy who was convicted of beating his girlfriend. It's always going to be that. They'll never put him in anything.
It would have to be a black movie studio by like Tyler Perry's warehouse, not warehouse, but like the studio that they film it in. It would have to be like an all black kind of like thing that.
Well, yeah. It's gonna. That's what I'm saying. It's gonna be that type of shit. He's gonna get. He's not gonna get like big time stuff no more.
Yeah,
no, man. This guy ain't Mike Tyson. You don't come back from convictions like that. I don't even know how Mike Tyson's done it. Like, to be quite honest, it's crazy to me.
Because people wanted to see him box. They didn't care. A lot of the fan base did not care. They just wanted to see him still box.
And I'm telling you, the black audience does not care that this woman accuses him. After the cop chokes her, or directs her to choke. When you see that footage, you'll understand what I mean. Would you change anything in Loki over this arrest? Loki is a show that's coming in the fall. This is happening now. I would change nothing about just because of the arrest. I would not edit anything just because of the arrest, because I know he's going to be innocent in a few weeks. It's just a matter of time. So no, I change nothing.
I'm with you right there, Cha. I think he's innocent too. But am I 100% confirmed that he's gonna actually get that innocent verdict? Not really.
K-Dot was saying?
I mean, hopefully Loki season 2 doesn't come out because season 1 was, mid.
Shut
We do not need
up.
that comment.
It was below.
They'll come back this season, right, Felicity?
Well, if I'm answering the question over this arrest, no. The only thing I would change in Loki is, Lady Loki, or Dookie, as I like to call her. I'd get rid of her. I hope she doesn't feature that much in this season.
Me too. Me too.
I hope Loki doesn't feature either because he's kind of trash as well.
What?
Just saying.
No, he's not. No, he's not. Loki's good.
Loki a chump now.
Would the cop have arrested him if he knew that he was?
He always been a chump since after Avengers 1.
If Quantumania didn't make $450 million, it was a hit movie, everyone's seeing it, and he knew that, this is that same actress from that movie. You think that cop would have arrested him?
Wait a minute, you actually think the cop might have even known?
Yeah, if it was the actor from Avengers Infinity Wars, he would be like, yeah, I know you, but this was Jonathan Majors.
Well, it was remember Falcon Winter Soldier when a cop didn't know that was Falcon? When he should have knew it was Falcon.
Cop may not have known it was Jonathan.
Maybe, he probably didn't know.
The bank.
Because Falcon Winter Soldier, they didn't know Falcon was Falcon. And you should know who Falcon is. This is the guy who fought with Captain America.
And besides, he probably would have asked for an autograph first, then arrested him.
So yes, there's a lot of people who didn't recognize. One of them was like, "Are you from LSU?" That was the banker. The cop was outside of Isaiah Bradley's home, didn't recognize him either. And a second, okay, yeah, I'm sorry about that. So yeah, the cop, see, Falcon Winter Soldier taught us something. When they recognize you, all of a sudden they'll humanize you. Mm-hmm.
That's the thing, though. Chill. I think that if it's racially motivated, then I don't think the cop would care whether he worked for Marvel or not. He would see it as being able to bring someone big down. Yeah, I think he would still do it.
Kimoyo Kid said the cop would have still arrested him. Speaking of what?
Speaking of Ezra Miller's future in the DC universe, James Gunn has actually spoken on it.
I bet there was
no. I'm just saying in past we were speaking about it.
This goes back to my earlier statement. The cop did recognize him and said, "That movie sucked. I'm arresting you."
Yes. What's the Ezra Miller statement from James Gunn?
He said
he only said wait and see, but he said wait and see, till all the troubles have finished. But
you probably should have said this 30 minutes ago when it was hot.
No, I know. I didn't know he's actually spoken on it, but this is the first thing he's actually said apparently.
Wait and see
the whole situation. But
that's the same thing Peter said.
But
wait and see.
But that essentially means that if the things turn out to be true, he's gone. Or if he doesn't have some really, really good excuse for all of this stuff, he's gone.
Right.
That's what it means.
So what we were talking about earlier is if he doesn't have something big towards him, or he does get off, then does that mean he stays as the Flash?
There's no scenario where this human being is the Flash in a DC film. The only reason we're at this wait and see, let's see what happens. Oh, we never know what can go. People need to be rehabilitated. The only reason we're here is because there's a movie coming in June. That's why.
No, I agree with you.
Wait a minute. You think after Flashpoint, Ezra Miller is not going to be the Flash anymore?
That's what he's saying. Yeah.
Really?
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Agree.
See, I'm personally not. I'm personally not convinced on that yet. I think that if the movie does good, they may bring him back.
I don't think it's whether the movie does good. I think it's whether he's ramping up. Once they start the PR tour, the press tour on the Flash movie, that's when they're going to start addressing this Ezra Miller stuff. That's when he's going to start doing these interviews.
Nope.
If he's radio silent. If he is radio silent during that,
you know why?
He's radio silent during that.
But before you do interviews, the interviewer, like Jimmy Fallon, has a list of things that cannot be asked, and so your guests will be protected. That there will be no addressing of the crazy incidents, the videos, and Warner Brothers isn't gonna have that much faith in seeking help and the rehab and the positive work that Ezra has been getting done. There's no faith.
All right, maybe not.
Listen, Nerdman. Do you, as Warner Brothers, want to go another 3-year period where you gotta hope one of your actors doesn't wild out on camera when there's like multiple incidents of it already happening. No. And plus with this reboot, with this James Gunn new Peter Safran new DCU, now you have a way to just, oh yeah, we were getting
Make it go away.
anyways. We weren't even gonna, you know what I mean? Like there's no amount of success that the Flash movie can make.
Sure.
Any success that they're making is because it's a Batman movie. They know. Look at that trailer. They featured Michael Keaton so heavy. They're not trying to address Ezra Miller any more than they really have to. They basically made it look like it was a Batman movie that had the Flash in it.
That's
Which
true.
is the only reason I cared about
that
it.
is absolutely true. That being said,
I'll say for the second
I
trailer,
think again, if there is any interest in rehabilitating Ezra Miller at all for any reason, I don't know, maybe they want to work with him in something else, I don't know. But if there's any interest in that at all, it either has to happen. Maybe you're right, not before the Flash movie comes out, but maybe like a month after. You're going to start seeing Ezra Miller coming out and actually speaking about these allegations, saying, yeah, I did some stupid stuff with the, breaking into a friend's house and blah, blah, blah. But the more serious allegations are bullshit. That's basically what he has to say, because what he's been convicted of is nonsense. Like, it's nothing. Like, oh, he broke into someone's house or something and stole a beer.
But the reputation
that's
still
not
exists, and the video still exists. And regardless, like what you're saying about, Ezra Miller's
with context, all of that can be
address
explained.
it. The time to address it and make good and do these positive things were weeks prior. We're so close to the movie. Do you really think you want headlines associated with the nonsense? No. If it wasn't happening, if the
I'm saying
weren't
after
happening
the movie, by the way.
there's no. You said after the movie comes out? I thought you said before.
After the movie.
I thought you were saying.
After,
all right. Okay,
Yeah,
leading up to the movie, not a single word will be spoken from any
Sure, I
Warner
agree.
Brothers orchestrated interview about anything that Ezra Miller has done wrong in on videos and arrests and anything like that.
I think that could be a mistake if only if there's really compelling stuff to why all of these stories came out. That, like, his side of the story is very compelling. Like, for instance, like
I saw the video.
Some tragedy happened in his life and he was wilding out. Plus, the more serious stuff that they've accused him of is false.
It doesn't matter. Listen to this.
That's false.
If there's past incidents in your life that have made you act out and be some sort of like person who has a tendencies to make eventful news stories, why would I have this guy for another 3 years? Warner Brothers is not keeping Ezra.
Oh, sure. Look, whatever. I'm whether they're keeping him as the Flash or not, I don't really give a fuck. But what I'm saying is, just on a kind of speculation kind of point of view, a speculation on the situation, why it hasn't been addressed, and all of that kind of stuff. I think, again, if there's radio silence on either side of the movie, whether it's prior or just a month or two after, then that means he's gone as the Flash, right? And the reason that there's been silence is simple. They just want to get the movie out there, have it make as much money as it possibly can, and leave it at that. But if there's any interest at all in rehabilitating this guy for whatever reason, maybe they know some inside stuff that we don't know about his personal life and that kind of thing, then you're going to see that soon. That interview is going to be set up soon with Ezra Miller, with what's that black lady, Tatiana, whatever, like something, Gail King or somebody like that, and they're going to do extensive interview, explains it all.
Nah, the only thing more intense than his defensive majors is his recast.
I would say so. Yes.
Yeah,
Question number 9. Jaded Fanboy, would you speak up in support of Jonathan Majors if you were a co-star?
No.
Ouch.
I wouldn't care either way.
All right. K-Dot, would you speak up at this point where we have the video of her going to the club?
Well, hold on, wait a minute. Did he lend me money?
No.
Okay, then
I'll be honest. I'd only
if he lent me money, then fine. I'd give him some support.
I'd only do it. Look, for one, he would have to be like my close friend, and two, yeah, he'd have to be like a friend. if it's like a rent,
Look at these fake brothers right now.
Right?
Look at them
no,
right now.
because it
These
look, when I
fake
say that,
brothers.
it
Hey,
depends.
I'm white. I'm
It
white. I
depends,
can do
right?
whatever I
But
want.
but more than likely, if I were to be in a Hollywood setting, I mean, I probably wouldn't get as much opportunities anyways because I'm going to kind of be
Wow,
honest.
look how fake this brother just for the opportunities
No,
and shit.
no.
He's gonna throw his own.
No.
Wow,
What I'm
I
saying
see
is,
how you are. I see you. I see you,
So-
Kato.
I can see you.
I'm
You
trying
get-
to claim my case, and then Brother Nerdman not letting me say it. Man, this is crazy.
You're gonna say the same thing about me. If I was just a co-star, no, like unless we're like friends or kind of buddy, then maybe I'll say something. But if we're just co-stars, no, there's like dudes that have played on basketball teams for many years and they don't like each other. You know what I mean? So it doesn't
Yo,
mean you
black
don't like
card
them.
revoked. Okay, so my answer is, did he lend me money?
That's correct. That's what I said. If he lend you money, then I would support him.
You are wrong. All of you are wrong.
That's right. Felicity, your turn.
No, you don't get anything positive for speaking out in favor of him at this point, unless you are somebody that's very close to him. If I was a celebrity and I was asked about the situation, I would just say no comment.
Okay.
I
Me and
wouldn't
you,
even
Uncle.
say no comment. I'll just say he is innocent until proven guilty.
That's enough from
what I've
everyone
got
else. A sensible human being is going to speak now, please. Biggerford Entertainment.
Oh, I already said it.
Yes.
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
He just said no, he wouldn't.
If he's like just a co-star, then no. You know what I mean? Like, I'm looking out for my career, and like Felicity said, speaking out on him now, it's all like you're not gonna get any positivity out of that. So,
But wouldn't you at least say like, "Oh, look, he's innocent until proven guilty"?
well, if I was
you know.
asked, I'd probably give like my experience. Hey, man, when I was on the set with him, he was a good guy, but whatever happened, I don't know about or something like that. Yes, definitely, I would say something like that.
Jonathan Majors is definitely finding out who his friends are, but that's still going to be done behind the scenes. I saw Michael B. Jordan posting about Creed. None of the 10 photos on Instagram featured Majors.
This is not about show
He's a
friends, it's
smart
about
brother,
show
then.
business.
Yeah, right.
I'm sorry. That is the
Because-
business. If you choose to get into this business, you need to know that.
It's business and friendship, absolutely, and that's the
That
thing
is
too,
so
right?
funny.
Because they've done a lot of press together and stuff, but that doesn't mean they were friends. You know what I mean? They were promoting the
But
movie. So
Do you know that Michael B. Jordan was saying like how like he was saying they are really good friends and that they're gonna be the new Al Pacino and Robert De Niro together. They're gonna
He
star
said
in
that?
loads of movies.
No, I didn't know
he was saying that before, bro.
No, I didn't know he said that, but you'd have to.
And now he ain't even featuring him on his Instagram. That's cool.
Nah, I have to hear that from. I didn't hear that.
Bunch of
That's
that's not
fair.
fair. That's not fair. I don't know
I
the
saw
guy.
that.
I go to bat. I go to bat
That's
for.
kind of
Hold
funny.
on. I go to bat for Enzo way before I go to bat for Jonathan Majors. I mean, come on.
You know what I mean?
I'm sorry. I don't know the guy. I don't care.
I don't know if I should ask question 10. I think I'm actually done with this panel. Like we went 2 hours.
Oh, you would go to bat for him, Chillmonker?
Yes. What was the question? It was number 9. Would
You
you speak
actually
up
would
in
as well.
support of Majors if you were a co-star? Oh, I would look for, especially after that video of her going to the club afterwards when the alleged incident happened. When I hear that my friend Jonathan Majors is claiming that you're going to see a body cam where the cop chokes her. Directs her to say that she was being choked. When that happens, I go to bat for my friend. I go,
Friend,
But you're saying friend.
You said co-star.
Yeah,
not
you're
friend.
saying friend, not co-star. You're saying friend.
That's
If
the
I'm
difference.
saying-
If you
if I'm
said
saying
friend,
friend,
Co-star
yes,
too. Co-star too.
absolutely.
Okay, yeah. Even if it was just a co-star, yeah, because I can see this happening to me too.
So-
and I want a sensible voice to be out there. I have enough information to free myself. And I'm not Jonathan Major's friend. Like Chillmonger right now today, and like the 5 videos that I've recently done, I'm not the friend. I'm just a entertainment viewer, and I'm going this hard. So yes, I would go hard.
Right. But you're going this hard because again you think he's innocent, right? I get that. Right. But you're talking about a co-star, someone who's probably never met him before, only worked on him maybe 3 months out of the time they were doing the film, right? And then I'm supposed to go to back for this guy. I don't know him.
Like you might have just exchanged highs, hellos, and that's it.
Right. Like look how many scenes he had with Scott Lang in the movie, right? So they obviously weren't on set all the time together.
Yeah.
Like I don't.
It's not like it's not like they were hanging out and going to clubs and restaurants.
Here's the thing, though. I find it troubling that I said this to Chillmonger. I find it troubling that no one has gone to bat for this dude. Yeah. Like I haven't even heard his mother like talking about like how like yeah, my son wouldn't do this. Like even Ezra Miller or some other cats out there, Johnny Depp, his daughter, other co-stars, other people came out and said, no, that doesn't sound like Johnny. Or Ezra Miller, like I've heard like quite a few people talking about how Ezra, no, he's a really sweet guy. He's not all
okay. Here, this is what happened. The Major said, "Nobody speak up for me. I got this. I'm good." That's what happened.
And I'm curious. Family in the public or anything like that. You know what I mean? So that could be a possibility.
No, if that's my son, he ain't stopping me from fucking defending him. No way.
So what do? You go to a Variety microphone and you say, "Hey, I'm Mr. Majors' mother, and I would just like to say da 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 da." No.
Well, I mean, just get on Instagram.
Something on Twitter or Instagram.
Nerdman, she probably did. Hold on, Nerdman, they probably did, but they're just not going to report it. That's all.
Can you imagine? Yeah, that could be a case. You see?
No, but go.
There could easily have been a dozen people who did, back up Jonathan Majors. We just don't know about it because nobody reported it.
So I'm talking about, baby. Up top. Question number 10 of 33 burning questions. We're not going to reach all 33. Let's just go 10 more minutes, everyone. Twen, why were all the variants played by him? K-Dot, you're about to explode on this topic because I've heard you speak about it. All the variants were Jonathan Majors.
Unless he's this Nexus being thing and the Nexus beings are all the same, I feel like Marvel's going to mess up on that and cast someone else as a Nexus being. But if he's a Nexus being, then okay, it makes sense that they all look the same. But they never confirmed if he is one, so I don't think he is. I think they just wanted to do it because we got this black actor. Let's like put them all up in it. Let's like show Black Power and stuff. Like, let's just throw them in there.
Wow.
Preferably, I wish
That's what I was gonna say. Maybe it's because he's good. You know what I mean?
He probably is. I'm not saying he isn't.
What do you mean he probably is? He's really good.
I know he's really good. I prefer that some of the Kangs look different. Like I want to see.
Why?
Because we got these different. It's the multiverse. I don't want everybody to look the same. I want to see some to look the same, but I want everybody to look the same. Like you want to see.
But the idea is that, but it's Kang. It's the idea that Kang is universal throughout the multiverses. That's the point.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
The only reason you had
them to look different. All the Kangs all look like Jonathan.
Well, yeah. The only reason you had those three major Kangs was because they were retconned from the comics and they were just separate individuals. But it's still supposed to be Kang. You had all the multiverses of Scott Lang. Well, guess what? They all looked like Scott Lang.
No. I didn't like that either. But look at Loki. Look
at Loki. Yeah, but Loki was broken. Okay, that was absolutely broken. There's no legitimacy.
Spider-Man, they all did not look the same.
But they're not. But that's because they're different actors from different.
And they're from different universes.
So they were stuck with that. They didn't plan that.
Yeah.
And the whole thing with Loki is having an alligator Loki doesn't even make any sense.
And there's a paint universe too, where everyone's paint. Doesn't make sense.
That's the point. That's what I'm saying. That's the purpose of the multiverse. Like there's a multiverse where I'm white and I look like Brad Pitt.
No, but then you're not kidding.
No, they ain't.
You can't have a multiverse
Will
like
you
that.
will it be Brad Pitt with that high top still though?
Yeah, it'll be Brad Pitt with a high top.
Yeah, right. That'll
sick.
work. That'll
That
work.
would look sick.
Hell, look at even DC Comics or Thomas Wayne Batman. He doesn't look like Bruce Wayne. He doesn't have the same suit as Bruce Wayne. He doesn't even act like Bruce.
They're the same
but
suit.
they're both Batman. You know what I'm saying?
One's
They're both
the
Batman.
father. Yeah, but one's
One's the
Jonathan,
father,
one's Bruce. Of course,
Yeah.
they don't look the same.
Jonathan.
Yes,
Thomas,
that's
by the
the
way.
multiverse. Like
Comic book,
there's so many different.
But it's not a
There
multiverse.
might be some Bruce. There's going to be some other Bruces in the multiverse, but there's going to be some Batman that don't look like Bruce. There might be a female.
Hold on. And
Bruce Wayne called Brucelino Wayne.
Hold on. In every Batman Elseworld, you know it's Bruce Wayne because they use the same character. They use the same. You've never seen an Elseworld Batman story where it's a fat black Batman.
But it exists because it's infinite possibilities.
There's that future state.
There's
Elseworlds.
There's Elseworlds one. There is actually Elseworlds with a black Batman, but I think part of the problem of doing a character like Kang is you have to really find a really good actor to be able to do that. That's one of the reasons I think you know when they do multiverses, maybe it's easier just to cast another person, because it's hard to when you're acting in a scene to then act as in a completely different way and it be seamless. Jonathan Majors actually pulls that off. I've only seen a couple of actors do that, like Edward Norton and a couple of other actors. So if I saw him being able to do all these multiple roles the way he does, I'd definitely do it the way Marvel's doing it, because it's an impressive feat and it's interesting to see. It adds texture to the scene, seeing him play off himself like that.
See, I told you this would be a passionate one. Why all the variants are played by Majors?
I'm not against Jonathan playing as a Kang. I'm not saying he can't be some Kangs. What I'm saying is I want to see some other Kangs that don't look like Jonathan. That's all I'm saying.
You want the alligator Kang?
You want an alligator Kang?
No, I want a Kang that might be an Asian dude. I want a Kang that kind of looks like an alien. I want a Kang that might look like Killmonger. I want a Kang that looks like Jaden.
There is one.
They do have those.
You don't want a King that looks like Jaden.
They had those. They had the Egyptian guy, Pharaoh guy.
They look like
Jonathan. But it was Jonathan Majors.
They're all
Jonathan Majors.
I'm not talking about different. I mean, just like they're totally different. I'm not saying all of them. You can have Jordan be Jonathan.
They are totally different. One's a robot and the other one's a Pharaoh.
K-Dot, you know why they have to do it? Because otherwise it would have confused the casuals.
Yeah.
And
they did it because the casuals going, why? The casuals would go, well, wait a minute. If Jonathan Majors is Kang,
the casuals need to catch up, because these people
they're not going to catch up. They're not going to.
The casual audience has been stupid for too long. Like
it's been 10 years. They're not catching up now.
We had Flash on for like 11 years, and people still don't understand the multiverse.
They still don't understand.
They're overwhelmed by how much there is. Actually, it's not even about catching up. There's one area that they actually got right. All Kangs look like Jonathan Majors. See, and I disagree. I don't think it's the right thing. I think, Damson Idris could have played one of those Kangs. Could have got a little cameo from like one of your production light artists. Put him in.
Chill. If you look at the scene, if that's the case, some of those Kangs didn't even have Jonathan's face. One of them two of them look like an alien.
Yeah, so you got what you wanted.
No,
you got what you wanted. So what are you complaining about?
Felicity,
all right. And that's the thing. No. That's the thing. If he's supposed to be a Nexus being, they already fucked up.
Whoa, wait a minute. Marvel fucked up? No, that's never happened 300 times already.
If that's the case, if all the Kangs look like Jonathan,
you gotta catch up. If you're shocked, if you're shocked that Marvel screwed up, you need to catch up.
No, I'm not shocked. I already figured this was gonna happen, but it already did. But if that's the case, if all them supposed to look like
I do not care. I don't know why you care so much. Nexus being non-Nexus, like what does it fucking matter?
This is
They're
Lord
actually,
God.
they're actually thinking Disney cares about continuity and actual being faithful to the source material. That's insane.
I don't. No. I'm not
Mila
talking about.
Kunis is the new
I'm not
Kang.
talking about the source.
I
material.
would watch
Setting
that.
up
I would
in
watch
in the stuff. They're talking about these Nexus beings, time travel stuff. I just expect some consistency. And if
Why?
I'm gonna call it out. I'm sorry. I'm gonna call it out.
Well, look, listen to this. See, K-Dot throws up the alley-oop, and then Jada Fanboy dunks the slander home. Like, okay, guys, we got it.
Doesn't make any sense that you would expect them to be something. Like,
Did everybody answer?
Look.
they don't even.
Everyone's answered. Let's
I
move
didn't
to the
answer
next
it.
question. Oh,
Go ahead.
Jaded. If there's a TV show that comes out and they tell me in the TV show zombies cannot be shot in the head, then in episode 5 a zombie gets shot in the head.
Welcome to how.
I'm sorry. If you set up something,
Still
it's like,
going on about this.
I'm running with it.
Felicity, what are you gonna say here?
No, I was gonna say that I think that they were all played by him because they had bought into him at the time. They were on the Jonathan Majors train until this incident happened, and when it happened, they totally moved away from him. So they know something that we don't, in order for it to have gone this way.
Also, it could have been cheaper too. Just instead of hiring 3 dozen, extras or whatever, just.
And it hasn't gone anywhere yet. They have not announced any sort of breaking of the relationship.
But Felicity,
They haven't announced it, but it's happened.
One question:
It's happened.
Do you think what they know is proof of his guilt, or just a couple of allegations?
I think whatever it is probably makes them look bad for not knowing, that this was going on with him. And that's why it was so swift.
You're going to be back on my channel on May 9th. You're going to be like, well, I guess I was wrong, Chillmonger. You're right. He's completely innocent. There was no...
No, I didn't say he wasn't innocent. I'm just saying in their process, they probably screwed something up where maybe they should have had conversations with people to vet him appropriately. But no, I still want him to have his day in court. He deserves that.
Oh, I'm muted. My bad. First-time MCU actors are usually cheap. Yeah.
Yeah.
True or false? The next Jonathan Majors headlines be related to his Marvel character. Is this true? The next time we see a headline with Jonathan Majors, it's going to be about Kang? That is false.
False. Yeah.
False.
Yeah, false.
Not for a while anyway.
Onzo?
Onzo's asleep.
Sorry, false.
Number 12.
No, I was reading something.
Tell us, is the Conqueror a good nickname? Is true or false?
Oh, that's true. The Conqueror is a great name.
It's very
only if that's what you actually do. He didn't conquer in Quantum Mania. He got conquered.
Oh my God!
But he's not. It's not done yet. It's not done yet.
And remember, he was busy conquering.
Conquer jack shit.
But he was conquering.
Some fucking ants conquered him, bro.
Well,
he was exiled for all the conquering he was doing, and the only one who exiled.
No, he didn't get exiled. He ran
It was
away.
other conquerors.
No, he was exiled.
He
was exiled.
He got beat by giant ants.
And hold on.
He got beat by giant ants. I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
Sorry, hold on. He conquered the
ants.
quantum realm.
No, because there were the army, the people
They
that
were fighting against him, but he was the ruler
rebels.
of it. But he was the ruler of it. He conquered the quantum realm.
You're never gonna get away from. Okay, he conquered the quantum realm. You're never gonna get away.
Nobody
from,
knows that happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Scott got back and he was like, "Oh yeah, nobody knows what happened, and did it matter?"
But
So
when
he
you go down
conquered a
there,
bunch of
and
small
but
people.
when
Okay,
you go down
good
there,
for him.
when they go down there and they find out that he's the one that they're scared of, and he's the one that's running everything. Yeah, that's conquering. You don't have to show it, but yeah, it was.
Jada Fanboy, is the Conqueror a good nickname? He's like, oh,
when
I
it
want
first,
to
no, no, but I'm saying at the time when Kang the Conqueror was created, it was it worked for him because again, other than Starro the Conqueror, there's Kang the Conqueror. There's not that many the Conquerors. I mean, even Annihil. Oh shoot,
Starro was a conqueror before this one, Kang.
Yeah, Starro's official name was Starro the Conqueror because he was a universal bad guy. He wasn't just some kaiju that could, just stomp around, but whatever. But I think there's very few the Conquerors, so I think it works for him because it's something different. It's not. I liked it. I thought it was.
Three trues in a row. Felicity, true or false? Conqueror is a good nickname.
Not for this character, no.
We go to SSJK.Sanctum. You answer this.
We already know what K does.
The whole name the name does not add up for him in the MCU, but in general, yes, true is a cool nickname. Once you say the whole thing, because the Conqueror is just basic, but the name Kang with the Conqueror, that should sound fire. I ain't gonna lie.
False.
I mean, there's Doom, and then there's Doctor Doom. I mean, it's like, come on, it's just odds.
Now, when the Conqueror part is fine because you got there's many Conquerors, Genghis Khan, all that and stuff, but when you don't say Genghis Khan the Conqueror and stuff, it don't really, you got to say the full name because the name itself, the main name is dope. Kang, that shit sound tight.
Fun fact about Genghis Khan, I heard something like he had so many children and offsprings that there's a 1% chance that we might be alive right now.
It
might be related to him.
Yeah.
There's a 6 degrees of separation. There's a good chance that somebody has some connection to a descendant of
Kang.
Genghis Khan.
Well, Gray says that it's true. It's a good nickname, but D Diesel, just like everyone else, is over here. It's false in the MCU. Gray says if he had a couple cans of Raid, he would have conquered the quantum realm.
Exactly.
Right, yes.
No. If he actually had the power set that allowed him to conquer the quantum realm, I mean, the guy teleports. When he saw the ants, why didn't he just teleport away?
He didn't have his thing on his wrist.
Because MCU power scaling went downhill.
True or false? Kang has better build-up than Thanos.
No. False.
I'd say true if he kills
Ant-Man. Out in Infinity War with some bodies on it.
If he kills Ant-Man, true, but no, it's false.
For me, for answering that, there is a severe bias with what they did with Thanos. Because my favorite line out of all of the MCU movies is when you saw Thanos, his aide said to challenge Thanos is to court death. And then you see Thanos, turn and give that little smile. And I went, that was I'm in love with Thanos. That was great. I loved it. So there was a lot of there's bias for me for that. I love the build up with Thanos just for that one line.
Let's go, Anzo. You're gonna be the one who says that it's true?
Yes, I am.
What is it about him that has a better build up?
Thanos happened. Don't do this. Don't do this. Hey, look, sometimes it's okay to not give this brother specific credit.
I'm gonna give it the credit. I'm gonna say, I do think the build up is better. We have him in Loki, right? We have him in Ant-Man. Then we're gonna have him in Loki season 2. So they're building up all these different characters, and I believe that the variant that was in Ant-Man isn't dead yet, and I think he will come back. And if he comes back for the Kang Dynasty, then all that build up, like Thanos had that little smile, and then next thing you know, it was.
I know. I agree. I'm saying it's total bias.
No, it was great. 100%. It was great. 100%. Yeah, you had to. But what I'm saying is, they were little post-credit scenes, and then he comes out in Infinity War. We're getting like a whole phase and series of Kang. So yeah, for me, the buildup is better.
Yeah, if you took out that one line, I would have to easily say Kang has a better buildup because they're actually doing something with him. Whereas Thanos was just a background character to go, oh yeah, all these movies?
Right.
Yeah, eventually.
And then boom, he's there.
Whereas with Kang, from the get-go, they're going, this is the bad guy. Here's what he's doing. And here you get to know about him.
Last question, true or false? John Majors sounds natural. I heard earlier Nerdman said it, John Majors. And yes, this is true. It sounds natural.
I mean,
not really.
I like to call him Jonathan. It's kind of weird to call him.
Yeah, me too. I call him Jonathan.
I've never even heard John Majors. That's the first time I've even
unless the actor unless the actor goes by, if Jonathan started going by John, then y'all like John. But you're not wrong. John Majors does sound more natural. But typically, when I hear somebody say their name, I run with what they say.
Yes, I agree. They were teasing Lady Death, and then when they changed the entire basis of his whole plan, I got pissed. But
Okay. Where were we? Anybody else?
Everybody
okay.
is.
Last question. True or false? The variety source familiar with the situation is actually the defense, the district attorney's office. This is true. And
I was gonna say the cleaning lady, but whatever.
That's that. That was 33 burning questions, even though we didn't do all 33. But I'm not trying to be here for another like hour, 2 hours and a half. What we had was
did you check the link?
Yeah, with the Gamora.
Recast Gamora?
She said it might
no.
She says Gamora's or Zoe Saldana says, I don't think
to move on.
This is the end for the Guardians. It is the end for me, for Gamora. That just means her character is gonna die. They knew this.
Good.
Everyone's dying in this movie. Avengers, or rather, James Gunn got fired. Then they rehired him, and the reason why he's back, and the reason why every actor is back, is because they weren't gonna do a movie without James Gunn. And what does that mean? It means that Marvel can't trust these actors, and they're gonna get rid of them all in one fell swoop.
Yeah, you guys tried to rebel against us once.
I paid for 33.
Yeah, they're like, you know what, make a good movie if everyone just died for reals. So they're all dying.
I mean, shit, might as well go to 33.
I have to agree with you, Road Comics. It's false advertising because the title of this video
we might as well. I got
33 questions, and we have been shortchanged.
I got time to spare.
I'm here to host, and there's a lot of times where I don't, get in and stop people from talking because they're on a roll, and I do that. But at some point, I realize I only have a finite amount of time I'm willing to sit on this chair. There's activities to be done in real life, you guys, and I'm not subservient to your time. So while it may say 33 burning questions, it doesn't mean we will always get 33.
Okay, hold on. In the chat, in the chat thing. Can Chillmonger leave and we continue the rest of the questions?
No, because no one has the account, so you guys couldn't end the broadcast.
No, but we got the questions on the bottom. Don't you write down the questions?
I didn't this time. No.
So here's the question I got to ask Chuck, because you said you got your time and you're not always going to get 33. Have you ever done a show where you didn't do 33 questions yet?
No, there's been a couple where I would skip like 5 and then we'd go straight to the ending. There's been a couple. But like,
what's the last question?
Today's goal was to simply talk Jonathan Majors and have that, the full discussion, which we did. Mm-hmm. We got everyone's viewpoint, and we're all better off for it, right? Right? He says yes. No,
okay, so at least what's the last question? What's the 33rd question?
The last question was question 14, remember?
What was question 33, out of curiosity?
Out of 15 right here. True or false, the variety source familiar with situations. That was the last question.
You know what it is? He only came up with 15 questions. That's the reason. That's the real reason.
Oh, we got 16. Go ahead, Joe.
Wait, no. I'm
okay, so we have 16 questions. We
there better not be an alligator can, because I will just...
Subscribe to everyone here. Thanks everyone for joining on this week. We are out. Bye.
Oopsie.